Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series racing from the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. Race 4 of 2018. First time Martin Truex has ever won a pole at Phoenix. You'll see the starting lineup on the left of the screen as we dial up the pole sitter.
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, Martin, this is Jeff up at the Fox Sports booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Jeff.
Well, Martin, we've seen you dominate the high-speed mile-and-a-half tracks. You showed to everybody you've got a fast car here in qualifying. What different challenges does this flat 1 mile track present to you?
I think really it's just about figuring out the short run versus the long run. Typically, we've been pretty good here on short runs and had our best run here in a while last fall. So got a little momentum to build on there, but definitely was looking for some long run speed yesterday. Hopefully we found it last night.
All right, thanks. Have a good one.
You too, guys. Thank you.
Let's get down to pit road, beginning with Vince Welch.
Well, despite the label of can't-miss star, Chase Elliott is still winless. But he led more than 100 laps in this race last year, and then here in November, he finished runner-up. And Elliott says his car today is as good, if not better. So after 7 second-place finishes, today may finally be the day the number 9 is number 1. Matt?
Vince, these pit boxes here today are the slickest in all of NASCAR, challenging for the drivers. Compound that by 10 for the over-the-wall guys, especially with the roster limits. Now you've got hybrid players like Dustin Lineback, who went from a carrier to a carrier and a jackman. He told me these pads are like ice. He spent a lot of extra time putting down PJ1 and soda to try to get extra grip when he comes back around the car. Jamie Little?
Brad Keselowski celebrated a big win in the Xfinity Series yesterday. Today may not come as easily, though. I talked to his crew chief, Paul Wolf, and he told me they unloaded on Friday, and it was a disaster. They were so far off. They qualified 25th. They had to go back to the drawing board. They made a lot of changes this morning. Watch for that competition caution lap 35 as a good place for this 2 team to take advantage of track position. Larry, Matt?
Jamie, let's take a look at our race analysis. We talked about it, a very short race, 312 laps, even short stages, 75, 75, 162. Pit road speed 45 miles per hour. The fuel window 85 to 95 laps. The grip level of this 1 mile track a 4. And Mike, Jamie talked about it. Competition caution lap 35.
Thanks, Larry. This race is going to go by in a flash, kind of like those pace laps did.
This whole thing is going to go by in a flash. And guess what, guys? We can get this thing started. Come on, Jeff. Help me out here.
All right.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
All right. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. All right. Woo-hoo.
Truex selected the outside. Larson may have the measure of him to lead lap 1.
Yeah, typically you would think that outside would be the way to go, where you pinch somebody off or get to their outside and loosen them up to get the advantage off of turn 2. But Truex was the one that got loose into turn 1.
Yeah, they played pretty nice on that start, I have to say.
5th place, side-by-side, teammates.
Already early in this race on that first lap, saw Kyle Busch cut the apron area, that dog leg, and gain some positions.
Eric Jones slid up right behind them, lost 7th to Joey Logano, coming forward toward those 2 Joe Gibbs Toyotas.
Kind of a little bit of a green racetrack. We had some rain on this track, so it doesn't have the grip maybe it's going to have later on. So a little slipping and sliding right now, but it makes for some exciting racing.
3rd place, Harvick advancing as Jamie Mack makes the move on Eric Jones. That's for 8th.
When these drivers and teams practiced on an overcast day yesterday, today's the first day they've really made long runs and been in race conditions with that sun beating down on this hot racetrack.
Excuse me, that's Harvick in 10th. It was Chase Elliott making the pass for 3rd. Out of turn 2 and into the dog leg of the back straightaway.
Yeah, you can see now they're going down. It's kind of an uphill, downhill deal there, but you'll see them later on be way below that yellow line when they want to cut the corner and get in front of somebody. It works pretty well.
th place. Ryan Blaney to the inside of William Byron.
Yeah, something we're going to have to keep an eye on with the 24 William Byron is he had more laps on his tires through qualifying, about 8 laps. So these tires have more laps on them than any of those that he's racing around. We'll see how that plays out on this first run.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's hoping that's why these guys are all going by him, because my tires aren't as good as theirs.
You must start the race using the tires on which you qualify. There's 3 rounds of knockout qualifying, so the drivers who start up front will likely have more laps on their tires than those out there.
And that competition caution is going to help a situation out like that. We know that caution is going to come out at lap 35, so not as concerning as it would have been without that.
You know, Mike and Jeff, Cole Pern is a little bit worried about that 78 car. They had lightning fast short run speed, but the car really fell off on the long run, so we have to keep an eye on that as he runs second.
Here comes Ryan Newman for 14th in the 31, and Jimmy Johnson coming up the outside on Paul Menard.
As we watch Jimmy Johnson, Paul Menard battle, the Hendrick Motorsports cars have finally shown some speed in 2018 this weekend. They've been struggling with that in the 1.5 miles, but this track right here must suit their setups or whatever it is that they brought, because all of those cars have been pretty strong. So looking forward to see what Jimmy Johnson does, even though he didn't qualify well.
I think what that shows us is 9th place, Kevin Harvick goes after Eric Jones. With this track being slower than all the tracks we've been to so far, if Hendrick is at an aerodynamic disadvantage, it would be less pronounced here, and certainly they're the equal of anybody else here in Phoenix today.
Yeah, it's all mechanical grip and driver here, Mike, and that makes a huge difference. I believe it's going to be a Hendrick kind of day. Just feel good about that 9 car, the 88. They're both strong. Watch for those cars today.
And it might just be a Kevin Harvick kind of day, too. He just continues to pick them off. Now, somebody that's been struggling this weekend is Penske. We've seen where they've been pretty solid this year, but Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski and teammate Ryan Blaney struggling a little bit here in the early going.
Keselowski missed the setup for qualifying, started 25th, fell back to 29th in the early going.
I think we're watching Kevin Harvick here. Watch how he's the first guy, Mike, that'll get down on that apron. He'll be on the apron, all 4 wheels going into the corner 3 over there, all 4 wheels coming off turn 4. That really works for him.
Up front, Kyle Larson with a 0.7 of a second lead, Matt.
Mike, a lot of concern in the Larson camp this weekend. In final practice, they had an issue with their brakes, wheel hopping, especially going into turn 3. They never really improved or fixed that. They changed everything in the brake system this morning. Cylinder, calipers, rotors, you name it. They changed everything that's critical because braking is so important here on entry, trying to roll to the corner, Jamie.
And the 78 Martin Truex Jr. in second. I talked to Cole Pern, his crew chief, this morning. He said, we just had a strange scenario from the get-go this weekend. We were too loose in and too loose off, just didn't have enough security. So this morning he told me they just swung at it and they tried to tighten it up. Now Martin in the 78, he's saying he's just too tight to the middle. Car doesn't want to turn like he needs it to.
Thanks, Jamie. Riding with Ty Dillon for Germain Racing, as he battles David Reagan. Kyle Larson in front of Martin Truex and Chase Elliott.
Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Racing is sponsored by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR.
Riding with Kyle Larson, he's our race leader by almost 7/10 of a second over Martin Truex, Chevy versus Toyota. Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Alex Bowman, the top 5, with the first Ford being Kevin Harvick, now in 7th position.
Watching those first 3 cars, Mike, they all run identical lap times. A 77, a 70, a 76, and even Hamlin, he's a 78, so they're right on top of each other.
5th place battle, Kyle Busch to the inside of Bowman.
And that you saw right there, that's what it's going to take to move through this field. If you've got a good race car, your car has to cut the middle and get underneath somebody like that move we just saw with Kyle Busch on Alex Bowman.
Yeah, I just saw this Bowman. He looked like he's got his hands full right now.
Well, Kyle opened the door. Here comes Harvick. Cannot make the pass this time, Matt.
Mike, final practice was in overcast conditions. The sun is out today, just burning on this racetrack. A lot of people are talking about losing grip and balance issues, and that's the issue for Kevin Harvick in the 4. He said he is loose pretty much everywhere, working his track bar adjuster, which is inside the car. Also, his brake bias. Just another tuning tool they have at their fingertips.
Harvick started 10th, up to 6th.
And Mike, we're coming to 22 laps. This is about as long as we saw these cars run in practice, around 20 laps. I think Larry, Jeff, I think we'll all agree that if there's going to be a tire issue, I don't think we'll see it because we're going to competition yellow here at 35. But about 50 laps is when we've seen that in the past.
Well, and also, DW, because of the lack of grip, they're going to be using more brake getting into the corners to slow these cars down. And we know that's going to be harder on those tires, on that B. We just saw something there with Jamie McMurray doing some downshifting. That's how much the pace has dropped. So watch him, drops it up into third gear, gets a better acceleration off the corner, up to fourth gear.
You know why he's doing that? Because remember, he raced yesterday. And then in the Xfinity race yesterday, there were a number of guys that were shifting. I'm sure this is one of the few guys that is taking that information into the car with him today.
Yeah, no shifting down in 3 and 4, that flat sweeping corner, but definitely a little bit slower middle of the corner down here in 1 and 2, where you'll probably see him downshift again. No, he doesn't do it that lap.
Brian Blaney having a tough go in the early going in that number 12. Here's A.J. Allmendinger to the inside of Blaney, who has dropped from 12th to 20th.
Caution's out.
Smoker on the back straightaway. And caution comes out. That is Corey LaJoie in the 72. Now 24 laps complete, and we're under caution for the first time. LaJoie was running 35th. So Larry, since this caution comes out prior to the NASCAR mandated competition yellow at lap 35, what's the drill here?
Yeah, Mike, I think we're going to see most of them come to pit road. We know that a lot of drivers are fighting handling issues. The pace had slowed down almost a second. Now, you can't fuel the car, but no worry. You can run the first stage without fueling the car. So I think pit road's going to be very busy.
Watch where our leader, Kyle Larson, was when apparently the engine let go on Corey LaJoie's number 72, right there.
Boy, that'll get your attention. You're leading the race, got a great car, and that happens right in front of you.
Pit road is closed this time around. And the only cars a lap down are Timmy Hill and Jeffrey Earnhardt. So free pass for Hill.
And I agree with Larry. I think because of the sun being out, hotter temperatures on this track, those tires being scuffed from qualifying, I think pit road is going to be really busy here. And I doubt whether there's a lot of 2 tires. It's probably going to be 4 tires with the way these drivers complain about the handling.
Yeah, I think here's what's going to happen, Mike. They're going to...
All right, now everyone realizes if you stop now, you don't have to commit at lap 35. NASCAR has declared this caution flag will serve as the competition caution. The important difference, it means they can add Sunoco race fuel during this caution and do whatever normal service is needed.
Yeah, I think you got to remember something. These guys are all thinking stage points. Last year, Martin Truex wore them out on stage points. So I don't know if everybody will come to pit road. Now, track position is so critical. We'll see what happens here.
Daryl, no question. They'll all be there because it's a long way until that end of that stage 1. And I just think these guys want tires and adjustments.
Oh, I'm sure you're right, but I think I'd gamble.
All right, they are putting Speedy Dry down at the entrance of pit road where Corey LaJoie coasted in. So the pits will stay closed for at least one more lap.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to stay out, but I do question whether you could do 2 or 4 tires.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think it's time to get. This is a great opportunity. Get some track position or hang on to what you got, one or the other.
Still cleaning up from turn 2 all the way around to pit road. Caution for Corey LaJoie's blown engine. They now have the pit entry clear. 34 cars will come on pit road at once. This could lead to a bit of chaos. Kyle Larson has led the first 29 laps, and those are the first laps that he has led this season. Here they come, Vince.
Chase Elliott coming in from third place. He will pit in the very first pit stall. The crew cleared off the speedy dry that was right there at the entrance of pit road. His only complaint is that the left rear feels a little light getting down into turn 1. It's going to be a 4-tire change for Elliott with fuel, Matt.
Very tricky pit road for Kyle Larson. He has a great exit, not one, but 2 empty pit boxes. They're going to make a chassis adjustment on the 42 instead of starting to get a little too tight in the center of the corner, Jamie.
78 of Martin Truex Jr. had 2 slow pit stops last week that caused them a lot of time. Watching these guys, they're trying to go back to the drawing board and dial it in. A 4-tire stop for Martin Truex Jr. says he's slightly tight in the middle. Not too bad. He's in the number 1 spot. The race off, and Truex gets it.
Rather narrow pit road with a big sweeping curve at the end. And Martin Truex Jr. comes out first. Kyle Busch picks up a couple. A 2-tire stop for Brad Keselowski gains him 17 positions. Getting ready for the restart. This time Martin Truex chooses the inside. Little chaos on that stop. Too many men over the wall for Casey Kane. Uncontrolled tire for Trevor Bayne. They will restart out back. Pick your lane.
Well, we saw Truex try the outside on the original start. He's going to try the inside this time.
I think on 4 new tires, I'd want the inside.
I think you're going to see Larson fight really hard for this. I just think Truex's car's really loose at the beginning in those first couple corners until those pressures get built up.
Denny Hamlin up for third. Eric Jones taking the shortcut through the dog leg.
That's all legal. You can do that here. You can go all the way down to that wall if you want to.
Hamlin to the inside looking for second.
I tell you, I was watching Hamlin before that caution, Mike. He was clipping away at him pretty good. He had a fast car.
And he's going to try to take advantage of that loose race car on these lower air pressures of Truex.
Harvick coming for fourth to the inside of Kyle Busch.
Boy, don't you know Kyle Busch wants to keep that 4 behind him. He knows he's going to have to battle him for the win here.
Either that or let him get in front of you and see what he's doing, because he does something.
Denny Hamlin's going to get position on Martin Truex in the bottom of 1 and 2. Can he complete this pass? Side by side, side by side.
Great race for second place as Kyle Larson speeds away.
Whoa,
baby.
Truex.
Woo.
Put the block on Kevin Harvick.
That opened the door for 18 to go up the outside. I think he's going to make a pass. I think the 78 thought he would block the 4 and break his momentum, but he didn't realize that 18 was going to sail by him on the outside.
I'll tell you what I'm super impressed with here, DW. The 2 car, he took 2 tires on that last stop, and right now he's battling with Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, that was the whole deal. They had to do something. They were back in 29th, I think, so they had to do something. That may work out for them. We'll see.
All 4 tires below the yellow line on the apron in 3 and 4.
Jimmy Johnson on the move. Battling for 10th with Eric Jones.
Going to do the crossover. Doesn't quite get enough momentum off the corner to make the pass.
Big losers on that pit stop. Alex Bowman lost 15 positions. Daniel Suarez gave up 14 on pit road.
I've been watching this 18 car, Jeff. Again, he's working out outside on his teammate here. Works really good in 3 and 4. He about break even in 1 and 2, but he really gets a nice run around the outside of 3 and 4.
This is such a tough racetrack to pass on. So the only way you can really get a line to work is to get outside of that turbulence and that draft behind that car in front of you and try to get some clean air on the nose and get that run off the corner.
Here's a look at Chase Elliott. He is back in 9th place. Let's show you why.
When these pickers use a jack, usually they want to do 1 pump to get that the left side of that car up. That 1 pump wasn't enough. They needed a little bit more.
Guys, the problem, everybody's having to multitask now. And we watched the jack man. He jacked it 1 time, went to place the left rear, and realized it wasn't up enough. Vince?
Well, and you saw the issues for the 9 and also the 19 of Daniel Suarez. You guys up top mentioned about all the spots they lost on that pit stop. On the left side, the jack fell too soon and slowed that stop. And in a short race like this one that clicks by as fast as this one will, you can ill afford losing those spots on the pits.
Well, you're right, Vince. Every small mistake is magnified.
Well, I've been watching the 18, like you said, DW, really working over his teammate Denny Hamlin. Kyle Busch has a really good race car. He can run the top or the bottom. Second place.
Yeah, I think he decided that outside wasn't going to work, so he rooted his teammate up off the bottom and was able to make a pass.
We talked about Alex Bowman losing a lot of spots on pit road, Matt.
And Mike, like we've seen up and down pit road, the issue for Dustin Lineback was on the left side. The jack dropped, lost a few seconds getting the car back up, but that equated to a lot of stops, like you mentioned, what, 15?
Correct. Yeah, and Mike, just real quick, an explanation. You got a chain normally that lets that rear tire fall out and so forth, but I've heard a lot about wheel hop this week. You'll lengthen that chain out a little bit to be sure it's not snatching that wheel up off the ground, so that could be a bit of an issue with those left rear tires.
Well, and I thought Larry brought up a really good point, too. We're seeing where they jack the tire, then they go to the left front, and their attention is off of that left rear, and they may think they've got the jack high enough, but they don't. In this case, they actually had an issue where it dropped.
Bubba Wallace 21st. Alex Bowman, who has a fast car, trying to work his way back up to the front. Squeezes underneath. Kyle Larson has led 40 out of 43 laps so far in Phoenix. "50 laps complete in the Arizona desert. Kyle Larson has led all but 3 of them. He's a half a second up on Kyle Busch. Kevin Harvick 2 seconds back. Jimmy Johnson battling Clint Boyer. This is for 12th. And Ryan Newman, last year's winner, right amongst them.
Yeah, Newman's hanging in there pretty good. Got a decent race car.
Yeah, we've documented where he's only led a few laps when he's won this race, but actually this weekend he's been very happy with the way his car's been handling throughout the runs.
Fighting Johnson here for 13th right now, running 14th, but got a good solid race car. Looks good around the track.
Kyle Larson is from Elk Grove, California. He had quite a homecoming last year when NASCAR went west after the second race of the season. Second at Las Vegas and here in Phoenix. A win in California. This year he started out 3rd last week in Nevada and has dominated the early going here at ISM Raceway.
And Mike, there's always that exception. Last year it was Truex. This year it's this 42 car. In regards to the body on the car, they've gotten their arms around the Camaro much quicker than anybody else has, and it shows. They've been running up front every week.
On your right, Ryan Newman leading Jimmy Johnson. Newman in 13th, 9.5 back. Matt?
Looking for back-to-back spring wins here at ISM Speedway. And I talked to Luke Lambert this morning. He said simply, we're not overconfident coming back to a place we won a year ago, but we're very solid. We've just been tweaking on this car. Everything goes our way. They feel like they're going to have a pretty solid day. Newman told the team right before that pit stop, the car never got the least bit loose, which is something uncommon we're hearing from a lot of the other teams. Everyone fighting balance issues that first run.
And Mike, I think a lot of that could be the weather. You think yesterday was overcast, cloudy. Today it's bright sunshine out there. The track's got to be pretty hot and pretty slick right now.
Timmy Hill goes a lap down. And every lap, Kyle Busch gets a little closer on Larson in turns 3 and 4 at the opposite end of the speedway.
Larson's opening up the door. He's trying to search around the racetrack, see if he can't find something to maintain that lead. And Kyle Busch, he's starting to get pretty anxious because if he looks in his mirror, guess who's coming? Oh, yeah.
The
Kevin
closer.
Harvick.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're right about Larson, though. I just saw all of a sudden when the 18 caught him, Larson said, I got to try something different. That bottom's not working, and he's moved up, and I think it's paying off for him.
And I think it's also one of the skill sets of this young, talented driver in Kyle Larson. He's a dirt tracker. He knows how to search around a slick track, and I love his style and what he's doing right here, and it's working.
He likes to ride the cushion.
Been a long time for Kyle Busch. He last won here in 2005. Since that win, he's got 41 wins on 21 different racetracks.
And you know the funny thing about that year, that 2005, Kyle won, Kurt won. The Busch boys.
For the lead, Kyle Busch to the inside of Kyle Larson, off four, makes it
I
stick.
love that aggressive move. You can see Kyle Busch jumped in the throttle, try to squirt ahead of Larson, and it worked.
However, look who's coming.
Yeah.
While all that was going on.
You know what that is? Dun, dun. Dun, dun.
I thought you were Jaws.
Well, there's another one on the track right now, I can tell you that. He's going to work on them.
Sixth place. Remember, Brad Keselowski took only 2 tires during that caution flag to gain track position. We'll see how that plays out at the end of stage 1, coming in about 16 more laps. Here's Vince.
Well, Eric Jones, another good qualifying effort, got him some built-in track position at the start. Started 9th, currently rides at 9th as he's feeling the pressure now from Kurt Busch, but he doesn't like the way his car is handling in the center, nor does he care for the way his brakes are reacting.
The brakes, I don't have near enough either. Lifted probably 200 feet before everybody, and I can't slow down fast enough. Okay, 10-4.
You see all those tabs on the front of that grill on that 20 car? Those are they'll be able to pull that tape off those brake ducts, get a little bit more air to them. I think that's his problem.
I was thinking the same thing. As we see this battle for second heating up between Kevin Harvick and Larson. Larson's not going to fight Kevin Harvick at all.
60 laps complete. 61 now, 14 to go in stage 1. Kyle Busch, the new leader, as we'll go side by side. 9 laps to go in stage 1. And battling for 8th place. Stage points pay down to 10th, so that's an important pass for Kurt Busch, moving up to 8th on Joey Logano. Eric Jones right now in that 20 is 10th. Chris Buescher in the picture in the 37. 1 down, or 2 laps down rather. Our computer projection model, Bernie, pre-race predictions taking into account qualifying and last practice among other variables, has most of the top 10. 9 out of 10 of the top 10 thus far.
Yeah, and Bernie had our top 7 finishers from last week's race.
Here's Matt.
And Mike, you documented Kyle Busch's win here back in 2005. Ironically, when you look at the lineup for today's race, 6 drivers that are racing today were still in that race that day. One of those was his teammate Denny Hamlin. That's who Kyle has relied on most this weekend. The car was not to his liking in final practice. They migrated over to the 11-car setup, and it certainly has worked.
Pretty good day in the early going for Joe Gibbs Racing. Denny Hamlin 4th. Kyle Busch led 114 laps of this race last year, finished 3rd. How about Hamlin, Vince?
Well, they've liked it all weekend. Crew chief Mike Wheeler told me they felt like they've just gotten a little bit better as the weekend has progressed, and they were optimistic for this run today. Denny says it's just a little tight in the center, which is prohibiting him from turning it the way he wants, but they're pretty close here in the early going, Jamie.
And Brad Keselowski just been lacking speed, qualified 25th, slipped back to 29th, but a good call on that first round of pit stops. They took right sides, only gained him a lot of track position. He restarted 6th, and now he's just kind of stalled out, running 7th right now. Said 1 and 2 has been his biggest struggle, and now he just reported to his crew chief, Paul Wolf, that the balance is exactly the same.
You know, Mike, he won the race here yesterday. Those experiences from yesterday have got to pay off for him today. He had to learn a lot yesterday for today.
3 laps left in stage 1. Kevin Harvick 3/4 of a second back. That's Matt DiBenedetto in between the 2 leaders. First car 1 lap down. He moves aside. Can Harvick challenge to win stage 1?
Well, there's no doubt Harvick's car is a little bit better. He's faster right now than Kyle Busch. But every time Kyle Busch puts one of those lap cars in between them, it's going to make it that much more difficult for Harvick to get to him and pass him.
Third place, Hamlin working over Larson.
Hamlin's been putting some really nice laps together here in these last 5 or 6 laps. Been watching him. He is definitely going to be a factor in this race throughout this day.
You know what's interesting? He and the 18 both run the same lap times, and they're sharing a setup, and it must be identical because they're running about the same speed around this racetrack.
Last lap of stage 1. Somebody's going to get a playoff point, and 10 drivers will collect bonus points.
This is going to be fun to watch. I mean, points are on the line. These guys don't want to give up those positions.
Kyle Busch wins stage 1. Harvick second, side by side for third. Hamlin wiggles, and Larson gets it.
He got a little loose up off 4.
Here's another battle. Kurt Busch for 7th on Keselowski. Didn't quite get it. That was fun to watch.
Kyle Busch wins his first stage of 2018. From the top of Monument Hill overlooking turns 3 and 4. Cars coming down the back straightaway after Kyle Busch has scored his first stage win of 2018. He will lead them onto pit road. Stage lengths today 75, 75, and the final stage 162 laps. Pit road is open. Here's Matt.
Mike, Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick both have wins here at ISM Speedway. Kyle Larson in the 42 was second here a year ago. The 42 car, not quite as sporty as it was earlier in the race. Too tight in the center, just losing too much time rolling. Meanwhile, the 4 of Harvick just did not take off as good earlier, but it paid off later in the run. They were talking about possibly an air pressure change there. Meanwhile, the 18 of Busch, his car just too snug in the center, but he was out front with that clean air. 15.1 seconds for the 18, 15.1 for Harvick.
Kyle Busch leads the race off pit road from Harvick and Hamlin. Kyle Larson loses 4 spots.
What do you say we dial up the stage winner? Hey, Kyle Busch, it's DW, buddy. You got me?
Yes, sir, right here.
All right, man. You got your stage win. Way to go. And you got a great pit stop. You got a fast car. I mean, could it go any better?
It certainly could. We got a long ways to go to find that out, but things are clicking right now. So Adam Stevens and the boys really did a good job. They went to work overnight and came up with some really good ideas to make this sweet E-Camry a little bit faster. And so far up front, feels pretty good.
All right, buddy. Good luck and keep it up.
Thank you.
Ross Chastain in the 15, first car 1 lap down, gets the free pass as Kyle Busch has won stage 1 in Phoenix. Here's Jamie Little at the eBay Motors pit box.
Well, Mike, one option that drivers have here at ISM Raceway is in the dog leg, down on the apron. We've seen some drivers do it already today. They dive down on the inside, only to mess up their turn 3. Well, drivers like to do it because it's a great place to pass, but it's a double-edged sword and kind of a risk versus reward thing. Crew chiefs, though, they hate to see their drivers go down there. It upsets the balance of the car. It bottoms out. It knocks up the splitters on these cars, and those are things that you really can't change or fix throughout the course of the day. So it's that risk versus reward. Drivers like it for passing. Crew chiefs don't care.
Thanks, Jamie. Here they come to the Geico restart zone. Kyle Busch has elected the outside. Kevin Harvick on the inside of row 1. We're back under green.
Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott get a great start. It's going to be fun to watch Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott go to battle here.
Elliott coming on the outside. Can Harvick clear him? Finally, yes, at the exit of turn 4.
That was close. Really close. He squeezed right up in front of Chase Elliott right there, but it worked.
Denny Hamlin opposite Truex for 4th with Logano and Keselowski.
You see Keselowski, all 4 tires down on the apron through 3 and 4, trying to make that pass on Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, well, you can do that. He's got 4 good ones now.
Kurt Busch outside Keselowski. This is for 7th with Larson, who has dropped 1 spot since the restart. Now watch the 20 and 48. Might have been a little contact here.
Yeah, Jimmy, just kind of tries to take that line away from him on the bottom, make it difficult to get up off the corner for the 20 of Eric Jones, and Eric just clips him a little bit in the left rear.
Yeah, that's a dangerous spot to clip somebody because it can cut that left rear tire down in an instant.
Boy, look at how much time it cost Eric Jones. They were almost 3 wide.
Boyer got underneath him now to the outside of Jones as they battle for 11. I wonder if Eric Jones might still be having some brake issues.
We got to do something better with brakes here, man. Every time I've been here. Obviously, we're different pads and a whole different setup than when we raced last year. Yeah, I know. It's just similar issues,
I didn't count the number of tabs on the front of that car, but I don't think they pulled any tape. It doesn't appear to me that they did. That would be my first thought. Get some air to those brakes.
And this place is so tough on brakes. You need a lot of braking power down into turn 1. You're driving in there deep. You need those brakes. And so if you're having that issue, it's going to cost you some time.
Yeah, running behind another car, you get no air to the nose, so that means you're going to get no air to the brakes.
6th place battle right now. Now, it's not just brake cooling that's important here, Matt.
Mike, the track temperature is up over 20 degrees from yesterday. Ambient temperature, it's single digits. But when you're inside that race car and your driver cooling aids don't work, it's not a good day.
I think something's wrong electrically. Like all my driver stuff isn't working as far as cool suit and helmet stuff. It's in and out. Stay hydrated all the time in case it quits the whole run or whatever. It is warmer out here than you think. Yeah, it's important.
Well, that's where that driver fitness program really comes into play. Jimmy Johnson has really pushed the other drivers at Hendrick Motorsports to step that up, and it's days like this when you need it most.
And Jimmy Johnson's the one that kind of introduced that cool suit to a lot of people. It's a vest that he wears. Water circulates to it. If that thing goes bad or something happens to it, it is a little uncomfortable.
And I've seen where there's a lot of load here on a lot of the electrical equipment because of these short tracks and the fan blowers for the brakes, that it will make that cooling system feel like it's not working.
Years and years ago, we had that thing and it quit working. It was pumping hot water through the vest, and that was not comfortable at all.
Only 73 degrees here. It was 84 on Friday. Track temp, though, is about the same as what we saw Friday in the 100 teens. 108 right now. Light breeze out of the south.
Oh, but that sunshine, man, that's what heats this joint up. That makes that asphalt slick. Woo!
And most importantly, in yesterday's final practice, full cloud cover. No sun at all. Left a lot of teams guessing.
Yeah, almost everybody was making qualifying runs on Friday, not race runs. Here's another great view from our visor cam on Ty Dillon. Get a great idea of how much these drivers are working that wheel, how close they are to the wall. Challenges that they're going to be dealing with at this racetrack. You see somebody's inside Ty Dillon trying to make that move. So they're working that apron while he's working that higher groove.
That's Michael McDowell.
It looks like the left side tires have got the Goodyear already rubbed off him. I think that's not the first time he's been run into.
You'll tighten up on exit here. Inside with room. Inside with room. Inside. Tight now. Inside. Still inside.
McDowell almost got the free pass at the end of stage 1. He was the first car one lap down until the last lap of the stage when Kyle Busch passed Ross Chastain. Kevin Harvick 0.4 of a second back of Kyle Busch. Toyota out front, Ford second, Chevrolet third with 95 laps complete. I got you, Barry. Go.
Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Racing is sponsored by the Ford Hall of Fans. Are you the world's greatest NASCAR fan? Here's your chance to prove it. Go to NASCAR.com/Ford.
Elliott's coming.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything they learn making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR. Kyle Busch holding station against Kevin Harvick by 0.9 of a second, but Chase Elliott is closing on that second place car.
Yeah, he drops back a little bit and then starts to gain on Kevin Harvick. As soon as he gets close enough where the air starts affecting him, he drops back again. So he's going to have to figure out a way on how to move around that racetrack if he's going to make a pass on Kevin Harvick. Vince?
You know, it's interesting, Jeff. Crew Chief Alan Gustafson was telling me today that the brakes are a tricky decision for a crew chief here because you want a big enough opening to keep the brakes from overheating, but you don't want an opening so big that it's going to hurt you aerodynamically. He said that's a really thin line. He said you don't really know till you get out there. They used their notes from last November. Of course, they led over 100 laps here in this race last year, so they felt good about it, but he said we just don't know for sure until we get in the race. We've got some opportunity to pull some tape, but certainly something we'll keep an eye on as the race stretches on.
Boy, they're good by a good margin. They're the best Chevrolet right now.
And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that these teams deal with at this racetrack. It's more like a short track, but it's also fast enough to where aerodynamics still play an important role.
Another young fellow working hard. Did a good job yesterday. Ryan Blaney.
In a different suit.
Yes. Joined Adam Alexander and Michael Waltrip to call the Xfinity Series race. Now there he is in a jacket and tie and offered some great analysis during that event. Plus was subject to his first Fox rain delay of quite a bit here. It rains in the desert. Imagine that. Now let's take a look at today's Driving Trust presented by Midas. Here's Larry.
You know, Mike, what a start that Ryan Blaney and Jeremy Bullins, his crew chief, have gotten off to in 2018. They're second in the points after 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s. And think about from 2012 to 2014, Jeremy was the crew chief in the Xfinity Series for Team Penske's 22 team. Won 22 races, 2 of them with Ryan Blaney. In 2015, he returned to Wood Brothers and was paired with Ryan Blaney again. And then last year, Jeremy Bullins and Ryan Blaney, they both got their first career win at the Pocono race in June, made the playoffs, and Jamie, they finished 9th in the overall points.
And they really have been a dynamic duo. But I talked to Jeremy Bullins this morning. You see him on the left side there. He told me this weekend they simply have not had a lot of fun. This car has just been lacking speed. They've been really trying to find their way, trying different adjustments. And so far in this race, he's tight in the middle, then it snaps loose off, just basically struggling through the corner for the 12.
He restarted 17th. Has dropped 2 spots right now, just ahead of Austin Dillon and Ricky Stenhouse in a backup car. Stenhouse is. Ryan's buddy Bubba Wallace right now in 24th on the lead lap. Vince.
Yeah, he's been hanging around just outside the top 20. It's been a real challenge for this team to try to find the sweet spot in the setup here for Bubba. It's just his 8th Cup start and its first Cup start ever here at ISM Raceway, but he's not letting him get him. It's not letting him get him down. How about this radio from Bubba earlier?
We lost 2 tenths trying to sink down the front stretch, so let's not do that the rest of the day. Whatever, trying to keep it lighthearted in here. 10-4. Just keep moving forward. You can act any way you want. I mean, did I at least get like a foot tap or a head nod from any of y'all? Dale liked it. Dale enjoyed it. That's right.
Talk about Dale Inman, Richard Petty's cousin and longtime crew chief.
Oh, man.
Guy's just having fun, you know?
Well, Blaney wasn't having much fun. Let's have a look here what happened a lap ago.
We've seen him and Austin Dillon battling. This is something we saw earlier. His car's really loose as it transitions down the corner, but it got even looser when the front bumper of the three of Austin Dillon's made contact.
Well, they say when your rear wheels are off the ground, they're always loose.
Up at the top of the screen, there they are. Dillon had stalked him for several laps, had tried him on the outside, the inside, couldn't get by, and now Kaplunk.
You know, while we watch this, look at that blue car right behind these two guys. That 17 car of Stenhouse, he started in the back. He's up to 19th, Mike, so he's making a nice move forward, too.
Well, he capitalized because that bump and run by Dillon on Blaney allowed Stenhouse to get past both of them. Sixth place on the right, Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch has been steadily moving his way forward. Those SHR cars are looking pretty strong again today.
Mike, last time by, this just fascinates me. 28.01 on the leader, 28.01 on second, and 27.99 on third. I mean, their times are mirroring each other, lap after lap after lap.
Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott stalking each other perhaps with 113 complete. 31 laps left in stage 2. Let's see how the Coca-Cola family of drivers are faring. Led by Joey Logano in 5th. All of them still on the lead lap. Denny Hamlin in the top 10. Larson and Suarez top 15. Kyle Busch is your race leader by a second and a half over Kevin Harvick. Almost another second back to Chase Elliott. Let's go all the way back to Kyle Larson in 13th, right there behind Eric Jones, Matt.
Mike Clean Air was Kyle Larson's friend. It certainly isn't now. The car just continues to lean more to the free side. He's working that track bar adjuster to try to help, but it just has not improved the car any.
And Mike, I heard that over and over again in practice, and I thought a lot of guys were really worried about being loose in today. Remember, we have a very small rear spoiler on these cars now. They don't have a tremendous amount of rear downforce. You drive hard into these corners, on the brakes, you make your car loose.
Yeah, and you can't, that just shows again, you cannot afford to have anything go wrong whether it's on a pit. Oh, issues with the 42 Larson.
They're not flat here, trying to
Caution.
stay out so we don't go a lap down.
Lap 121.
I don't see any tires down. It didn't look like, not on left side anyway.
He was in
I can't
13.
keep it from shaking. Are they shaking
Is that
on
those
entry
brakes
and exit
again?
or just on entry? It depends. I mean, mostly on entry, but even when I get loose on exit, they're shaking.
I don't see any flat tires anywhere.
Let's have a look first from our Goodyear aerial coverage at Kyle Larson.
And all weekend long, he's been complaining about the brakes, getting a little wheel hop. Yeah, he just gets the left front on the apron, and the car rotates, but in the back just comes around. Boy, that is something you never see Kyle Larson do. Yeah, you can almost see the rear tire bouncing like it was that chatter or that wheel hop that he's been talking about all weekend.
Yeah, you could see it in that picture there. The tires were jumping up, the rear tires jumping up and down.
Let's ride along.
Probably hear it.
Yeah, that's almost the chatter when you start to go into a slide and that construction of the tire starts chattering.
Pit road is open under caution, Vince.
Well, the 9 of Chase Elliott said he started off a little more snug that run and then migrated free to the right rear, which we're hearing about from a lot of teams. But he said, actually, we're pretty close. There's not much to do to it. 4 tires and fuel, Matt.
Ty Dillon's still in the lead lap, so Kyle Busch in the 18 will stop shorter in his box to help with his exit. The car was free on entry and off, but his biggest complaint, it was just too tight through the center as the run went on. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick says he just cannot lean on that right rear tire. No grip, and it was getting worse as the run went on. Lugs are on, and he's away.
Brad Keselowski taking 2 tires again to lead the race off pit road. William Byron also took 2.
Well, it worked once. Try it again.
We'll see if it works again. Kyle Larson brings out the 3rd caution of the day. Welcome back to Phoenix, part of NASCAR Goes West, presented by Toyota. Follow at Toyota Racing for more content and more conversation around NASCAR Goes West, presented by Toyota. Brad Keselowski outside, Kyle Busch inside. Keselowski with 2 tires, Busch with 4. We're back under green.
Now what you'll see is these 2 tires, they take off pretty good. Those left sides are heated up, air pressures are up. He'll take off.
Yeah, well, it worked. You know, he took 2 earlier, and it worked really well. We'll see how it works out this time at the front of the field.
Now, he was 8th. Now leading Brad Keselowski with 2 tires. William Byron was 16th. Restarted 7th, taking on 2. Jamie?
And Brad Keselowski just noted they took right sides only. Well, Paul Wolf said, hey, we were better that last time on 2 tires than 4, so why not? Let's do it. It's the middle of the race. Brad Keselowski now just struggling a little loose off on both ends of the racetrack, guys.
Yeah, I think the only thing, Jamie, that might change that 2-tire, 4-tire situation is the track conditions. The track is going to rubber up. It's going to get a little slicker, and man,
Joey way high on the racetrack and loses a bunch of spots there.
And here's a pass for the lead.
For the lead, Kyle Busch comes back against Brad Keselowski on the inside to retake the lead.
Yeah, to me, the big winner on the last round of pit stops was this 18 of Kyle Busch. They had a really solid stop, got out second with 4 tires, now takes the lead where Kevin Harvick's still a few spots back.
The 24 with 2 tires against Kurt Busch for 6th. Denny Hamlin looking in.
That 41 car, Jeff mentioned a couple times, he's been on the move. Really doing a nice job working his way up through the field. Got a good race car. Whoa, now go there. There you go.
There goes that move.
There you go.
Can he clear all of them?
One outside, one outside.
That's the shortcut.
Clear.
Just call that a cutter?
That's a shortcut.
That's a cutter.
It worked.
Very unique racetrack. Very unique driving lines down that backstretch. Well, Hamlin just went from 8th to 6th. And let's put speed in here on the back straightaway and look at the speed differential.
Yeah, now
as he drops down.
The 24 and the 41 are side by side, so stalling one another out. The 11's got a clean run and a shorter distance.
Then moves up and takes the groove away.
Attaboy. Use it up.
Bubba Wallace back in. He had a bit of a slow stop under caution, and now they're replacing the right side, all 4 tires for Bubba. He'll lose a lap here. Truex looking for 2nd against Keselowski. And going to take it here. Toyota's 1-2. Here comes Harvick in a Ford for 3rd.
Harvick's pretty good right now. He's not a match for the 18, but he's pretty good. But Mike, you know what he hadn't done yet? He hadn't run that apron like I've seen him do. He's been down on the apron, but I've seen him all 4 wheels down on, all tires down on the apron, and he hasn't quite got there yet.
Watch Blaney and Larson here with Almirola right behind. They trade a little paint.
Yeah, you can see the 42 gets a little bit loose. Touch. You can see it knock that fender in on the left rear of the 12 of Blaney.
You know, the 12's not going to have any paint left on that car because everybody's taking a piece of it. But you know what they always said, Mike? If your right side's all bent in, you're racing. If your left side's all bent in, you're in the way.
You're losing.
I think the goal here is we watch Keselowski. He was 8th before that pit stop. So he came out with the lead. His goal at the end of this stage is to be ahead of 8th. If he does that, that was a gain.
16 laps to go in stage 2. We'll keep it right here side by side for you. Nine laps to go on the stage. Big battle for 11th. Alex Bowman, Eric Jones, Ryan Newman, Jamie McMurray all embroiled in it here. Time for Track Facts, brought to you by McDonald's $1, $2, $3 menu. 1. Alan Kulwicki got his first win here, 1988. 2. Bobby Hamilton got his first Cup win here, 1996. And 3. The highest placed driver looking for his first career win today is Chase Elliott, currently in 4th. Fifth place on the left, 13th place on the right.
Mike, again, I love watching lap times because that's really a good judge of who's got a good car and who doesn't, or who's moving, who isn't. But that 41 car is putting down some pretty quick laps right now.
Kurt Busch 5.5 seconds back in 5th.
The only car faster than him is his brother.
That's right.
And I just think if Kurt Busch can get some better track position to start these restarts with, I think he can go contend with his brother.
Oh, brother, where art thou?
Riding with Ryan Blaney. We saw Alex Bowman and Eric Jones have some great side-by-side racing during that last break. Matt?
Mike, earlier we touched on Alex Bowman's electrical issues concerning his driver aids. But now his day may have actually taken a little bit of a turn for the worse, because now they believe those electrical issues might be affecting the front brake fans, which is something you definitely need here, as a little gouge out of the way there, something you definitely need here because you're getting so much brake heat going into the corners because, as you guys mentioned, you're using those brakes on entry and trying to get the car to turn.
Larry Mack?
Yeah, let's go to our Ford Performance car and let's show where this air goes through the nose and what it does when it goes through there. We're hearing all about cooling the brakes. If you look right here, that you see that plenum right there in the nose of the race car. This is the brakes that we're trying to cool. This is that plenum in the nose of the car. These are the hoses. And the fans that Matt talked about, you have 1 or 2 right there, and in this right there, that's what really puts the air and directs it onto the brakes.
Thanks, Larry. Caution is out for Chris Buescher, who was running in 32nd.
How many laps since how many green flag laps since the last caution, guys? I don't.
Just less than 20.
Less than 20, so that's not one of those 50-lap situations where we thought might have a bead go down.
And only 4 laps to go in the stage. So this will be a quickie yellow, which means the pits are open for all cars. Here is Buescher.
Definitely a right front tire that went down.
Yeah.
Turn 4.
You just don't know. Like you said, DW, was it from the bead, or was it from maybe contact from another car that caused that right front to go down?
We've seen a lot of contact.
Matt?
And as the cars come down pit road, Kyle Busch and Adam Stevens were actually talking about doing a Keselowski, going 2 tires, but they felt like it would be too much of a struggle with everyone else on 4 to try to keep up. Meanwhile, the 4 of Kevin Harvick, he moved around a little bit the previous run. He gave some distance between himself and Chase Elliott. Better in 3 and 4. Air pressure change. Jamie.
Yeah, Martin Truex Jr., his main concern was just losing rear grip, but he said he was better that last run. So getting better as they run another 4-tire stop for the 78 in the number 1 box as they count down, keep their eye on the 18, Mike.
Big trouble on Denny Hamlin. He pulled in close to the wall as if for an outside tire change, making it very difficult to change all 4.
Mike, he came in a little hot and slid. He slid into the inside wall almost. They tried to change tires and couldn't get the jack on the car. Or they got it under, but it fell off. But you'll watch him here. I think we'll see a replay of it. You'll see he comes in a little hot. Car slides, locks up the front tires. And just not enough room on the left side now for the tire changer and the jack man.
Yeah, it didn't seem like he came in that fast, but he just locked that left front tire up. And these are slick pit stalls that we heard earlier, and it just slid.
Slippery pit boxes. Now Hamlin has an open box.
Oh, right there. Falls off the jack, or the jack drops, actually. It didn't fall off the jack.
You know, one thing that Mike Wheeler could have done, he could have called an audible, which can be flirting with a disaster. He could have called an audible right there and said, guys, let's just do 2 right sides.
So on that round of stops, Alex Bowman too fast entering pit road. And earlier, Bubba Wallace had a loose right front wheel. That's why he had to make that stop under the green flag prior to this caution. Let's take a look at fastest pit stops presented by Xfinity. 14 flat for Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch on those 4-tire stops.
So guess what? Jeff said if the 41 car can get a little track position, got a little track position.
Yeah, well, we got a shootout here for this stage.
One lap. And we're told there is no free pass. Chris Buescher was in the free pass position. He's the car brought out the caution. One lap for a playoff point and a stage win. Green flag.
That outside lane is going to carry the momentum for Kurt Busch off of turn 2 and get the lead.
Yeah, he's gone. He's out of here.
Side by side for fifth.
And 3 wide going into turn 3. Further back.
Oh, what a pile this is going to be for a top 10 spot.
No kidding.
Kurt Busch wins stage 2. It's on from there. He gets his second stage win of 2018.
That was fun right there.
Yeah, it was. I like those shootouts.
Fun to watch.
Kurt Busch for Stewart-Haas Racing and Ford is your stage winner.
Finally, I found chicken tenders that can pass as mine, which is nice because I've got better things to do. Peggy, I finished his shoulder. Millennials, am I right? No. Oh, no. Yes. Dinner!
Introducing McDonald's Buttermilk Crispy Tenders. Juicy and made with all white meat chicken. They're not grandma's.
I'm okay with that.
But she's okay with that.
Great. Another dead end.
Sarge, I just got a tip that'll crack this case wide open. Turns out the prince at the crime scene...
Did McGruffy Wuffy get a tippy-whippy?
I'm serious. We gotta move fast before...
Who's a good boy? Is him a good boy?
I'm just gonna go.
Oh, you wanna go outside? You gotta go tinky poo-poo.
I already went, okay? In the bathroom.
As long as people talk baby talk to dogs, you can count on Geico saving folks money. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
As King Midas, I get special treatment. Here, you will too. Your oil change comes with a tire rotation as well. Ooh, I could put that on an airplane banner.
Our $19.99 oil change also includes a tire rotation. Book an appointment online.
We the people are defined by the things we share and the ones we love. Who never stop wondering what we'll do or where we'll go next. We the people who are better together than we are alone. Are unstoppable. Welcome to the entirely new Expedition.
When your battery's running low, grab a sugar-free, vitamin-packed 5-Hour Energy. It'll get...
5 of the first 6 drivers finishing stage 1 haven't been to pit road since lap 123. Kurt Busch, Keselowski, Stenhouse, McDowell, and Dillon. McDowell's already on pit road. They had the hood up on his car. And here come those other leaders we just mentioned. Vince?
Last fall, Ricky Stenhouse finished 8th here after starting in the rear. Today, started in the rear and the backup again, finished 3rd in that stage, but they just can't get a handle on it. Really loose in and loose off. They're going to make a wedge adjustment and 4 tires, Jamie.
The 41 of Kurt Busch coming in. Billy Scott, as crew chief, said, don't come here. I don't want to give up this track position. We've been better on the long run. Let's just stay out. And Kurt Busch decided to come on in. So his guys were up on the wall waiting for him. The 2, meanwhile, getting 4 tires. Kurt is there. They were able to service him. And Brad going to be on 4 tires for the second time this race.
Thanks, Jamie. That'll turn the lead back to Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex, Clint Boyer, and Chase Elliott.
We said we dial up that stage 2 winner, Kurt Busch. Hey, Kurt, this is Jeff up in the Fox Sports booth. You got me?
Yeah, 10-4. I got you guys. Go ahead.
Well, buddy, I got some good news and some bad news. You won that stage, and it was fun to watch that shootout. But now you're going to be starting pretty deep in the field by making that stop. What do you got for him?
We're stage winners. Woo, we're starting 25th now. That's part of the game of how you got to play these stages. It comes with good and it comes with bad, just like you're saying. But our car is so good on the long run. I figured I needed tires, and I got 150 laps left with this Mobil 1 Ford. So Billy Scott's calling an awesome race. I got to work with what we've got. We're doing what we've got here, man. It's fun.
Man, I love your attitude. We're having fun watching, so good luck.
That far, thanks, guys.
He was fired up.
Kurt, she's fired up about being our Stage 2 winner. Welcome back to Phoenix. We're getting ready to go green for Stage 2. The 2018 new Camaro is on the track. Jeff Gordon took the street version around ISM Raceway.
All right, well, here we are, Phoenix, Arizona at ISM Raceway. I think that the challenging part of this racetrack that these teams are going to be dealing with, turns 1 and 2 are completely different than turns 3 and 4. Turns 1 and 2, heavy braking, very narrow entry, and then it really widens out so you can get heavy onto the throttle off of this corner. As these cars carry a lot of speed, they'll really slam down into this lower apron. That's not out of bounds, folks. You can go down there and actually make a pass. Pretty unique dog leg on the back straightaway where the car really dips into that, loads up. Now turn 3, really flat entry here. Car wants to get really light. And then this corner is much more sweeping than what we see. Oh, that was a good time to get out there on track again. I love this racetrack, and I love exactly what we were talking about. The differences from turns 3 and 4 to 1 and 2. A lot of compromise as a driver, a lot of compromise in the setup.
Pace car will come in this time as the drivers come to the Geico restart zone. Kyle Busch has elected the outside. Kevin Harvick on the front row. Truex and Boyer, Elliott, McMurray, Dylan Blaney, Byron and Jones, the top 10. Bubba Wallace got the free pass. So now 30 cars are on the lead lap. We're back to green.
Harvick spun tires a little bit. I think this is a point in the race where Harvick would really like to make a statement if he could. If he could get by that 18, I think it'd be
the
big.
3 gets loose. See, Austin Dillon got really loose getting into turn 1. Almost collected Eric Jones.
Truex Boyer for third. And that settles out in Boyer's favor.
Whew, quite a wad back in here. Holy smoly.
Well, we were talking to Kurt Busch about how good his car is. Another one that's in Char cars is Clint Boyer there in third position. He's been steadily making his way forward also.
Yeah, Boyer's a guy that would love to end that losing streak he's been on, because it's been a while since he won a race.
These two have battled all day. Eric Jones and Austin Dillon.
Yeah. Remember me?
8th place there. Let's go up to third. Boyer and Truex again.
Yeah, Truex got held up a little bit on that restart because of the issues that Harvick had spinning the tires. Now he's in to the inside of Clint Boyer for third position.
There's so much speed up on that outside right now. If you get back to the gas, get off the corner, that's a good line to run.
That's what makes it so difficult to pass here. If somebody holds that outside line, you just can't let the car go out to the line. You really need to maintain the speed.
Oh, Logano loose into Trevor Bayne, and they hold on to it.
Wow, great save by both of those drivers.
Yeah, that started way back at turn 4. Didn't end until turn 2. We'll see this again. This is at turn 4.
Joey does a pretty nice job maintaining that position to the left rear of Bayne. Bayne pinches him a little bit, and then the 22 gets really loose.
That's a tough spot to be in for the 22. When that car on the outside pinches you down a little bit, you always get loose.
And now we got a tire rub smoke on the left rear of the 6 of Trevor Bayne.
5th place. Chase Elliott motors past Ryan Blaney. Jamie Mack in the picture.
Solid run, Mike, for that 9 car. Just hanging around the front. Never know what might happen at the end of the day here.
pit stop, our second place car, Kevin Harvick, had an issue, and we listened in.
Do you feel anything there at all? No. Seems like Daniel's questioning the left rear whether it's tight enough or not. He said he feels like there's at least 3 tight. He feels like they're in a pyramid. Well, we can go for it here, or we're going to be back there about 25th, you know.
Matt?
Mike, these teams practice 3 days a week at Stewart-Haas Racing, and there's so much instinct and timing that goes on. Now, what took place? Daniel Smith was just a tick slow. Stan Doolittle, the jack man, he felt like it should be time to drop the jack. He did a tick early. Daniel got at least 3 lugs. They looked at the video, Walt Smith, the pit crew coach, and Rodney Childers. They know that they've at least got a pyramid of lugs tight, so minimum of 3. If he feels a bad vibration, he'll come, but he hasn't said anything on the radio.
So simply, that means not 3 adjacent lugs, at least 1 across from 2. To give that a fairly stable platform. So we'll see how it plays out.
If those 3 are tight and in those positions, good chance it could stay tight during this entire run.
Jimmy Johnson in 16th. He restarted 14th. Working on Trevor Bayne, Vince.
Well, Jimmy had his best starting position of the season. You said, as you mentioned, Mike started 17th, but they just haven't been able to move up much from where they've been. Jimmy's been fighting a loose car much of the day. It's been a pretty solid day for most of the Hendrick Motorsports guys, but Jimmy just hasn't been able to move much. Currently sitting 16th.
Sitting or moving?
I don't think Jimmy Johnson liked the way that Trevor Bayne was racing him. He decided to go in there and move him out of the way.
Bayne's having a little bit of problem here and there with several different people.
Johnson cuts the dog leg to complete the pass and move up to 15th. Got quite a group behind him. Almirola, Keselowski, last year's winner Newman, Menard, Stenhouse.
The 4 cars closing.
144 laps to go in the Arizona desert. Kyle Busch out front.
Throughout the season, Ford will be searching for the most passionate NASCAR fans to become the first ever inductees into the Ford Hall of Fans. To learn more, go to NASCAR.com/Ford.
Those Ford fans are loving Kevin Harvick's performance. He was right alongside Kyle Busch in turn number 1. Could not complete the pass that time by. So let's take a look at today's Credit One Bank ones to watch.
Well, Mike, I love the attitude of Kurt Busch. When we talked to him on the radio after winning stage 2, he's won here in the past, back in 2005. 5 of the last 7 races, he's been the top 10. He has a fast race car today, and he's coming forward.
Jeff, Jamie McMurray in the one's making his 550th career start today. He has not even had a top 15 finish here 2018. Inside the top 10, sometimes it's just the little victories you're looking for.
Let's see now. Let's see. He won Atlanta. He won Vegas. And he's running second right now with a pretty fast car. You do the math.
I like Daniel Suarez. I talked to him on the grid. He was very confident about his number 19 Harris Toyota. He's running well. He's got a Truck Series victory here. In fact, guys, he finished 7th here last year. So he knows this track. I think he considers it a home run for him. Let's see what happens in the end.
Well, I'm going to take you a little deeper in the field. Our computer model, Bernie, has Austin Dillon in pre-race listed as 20th. But he's been a top 10 car just about all day. Keep an eye on the 3. Keep an eye on the lead. Here comes Harvick.
I tell you, it's just right now, it's hard to bet against that 4 car. I don't know about next week, but right now.
Well, listen, I like what I'm seeing out of Kyle Busch right now, how hard he's going to fight to keep this lead. We saw him slide in the back of the car when he was in front of that Ford, just trying to do everything he can to get the most out of that 18 car.
I think both these guys right now, Jeff, know that this is a point of the race where you got to make a statement. Can I hold him off or can I get by him?
A lapped car may help decide this. Timmy Hill is a ways ahead there.
Slide job.
Now, what can Kyle Busch learn from following Kevin Harvick. That's what's going to be key. Is there an adjustment that they can make on their next pit stop to get that car good enough to stay ahead of Kevin Harvick in the future?
In the last 5 races here, well, there's Suarez and Austin Dillon battling for 10th. Michael's pick there, Suarez. In the last 4 of the last 5 races here, the eventual winner didn't lead until right about now.
Yeah, I think Harvick last time he won here was way up in the race, like at lap 169 or something, way late in the race.
One thing about short track racing, and we all agree Phoenix races like a short track, a flat track, even though it's a mile, is there's plenty of room to beat and bang and trade position. Watch Alex Bowman working on Stenhouse here.
You can tell the back end of the car steps out on Stenhouse's. Bowman's so close. A little bump, moves him out of the way. And then return the favor.
I like what these guys always say. I will race you the way you race me.
That's right.
Well, they're both lead lap cars, 21st and 22nd right now.
And they're not done.
No. Oh, here comes Stenhouse for another try. Whoa, got real loose trying to get inside cleanly. You can watch this all day.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think it'll last all day.
They usually don't.
6th place. You're watching from Blaney.
Boy, hats off to Blaney. They've struggled with this car, but pit strategy, some adjustments, and he's in the top 10.
No kidding. That's a really great recovery for that 12 car. Because we saw him earlier. He's getting hit by everybody.
Johnson Almirola, this is for 16.
I really expected both of these cars to be further up in the field. You know, SHR and Almirola, he showed some strength in practice. He's got his teammates to get notes off of. And then Jimmy Johnson showed some speed in qualifying. And then even in practice yesterday, I really thought this car was going to be better than this.
Yeah, you know, Jeff, I watched that 48 just like you do. I thought he had a good race car, but I didn't think he had a great race car. I don't think he's a match for our leaders right now, the 4 and the 18 and 78.
Kevin Harvick trying to win 3 in a row for the first time in his career. ...2006, 2 out of 3. Looks like a slot machine. 2011, 2014, and going into the 15 season. Winner, second place. Winner, question mark.
Well, the only thing I'm surprised by so far today is that it took him 180 laps to get to the lead.
I agree with you to some degree, but by the same token, I think he is so confident in his car and in his team and in his ability that he doesn't push it till it counts.
And we heard on his radio when they had the possible issue with the lug nuts, calm as can be.
Only 3 drivers over age 40 have ever won 3 in a row. We're under caution at lap 191 in Phoenix. Paul Menard running 24th by himself. It looked like something broke on that car, and it spun and backed into the wall hard at the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, as we look back down the track, you'll see the car back here, the yellow car in the middle of the corner. Watch the sparks fly out under it.
Boy, you don't see an impact like that, especially on the exit of turn 2 here at Phoenix very often. Those sparks, I don't know if it was from the right rear tire blowing and then the wheel was where the sparks, or if something else broke in the suspension back there that caused it to cut that tire.
Yeah, I don't see the rear end housing. Looks like it's in its position it's supposed to be in. To me, it looked like a right rear tire may have gone down.
Paul climbs out okay.
Obviously has his attention too. He's pretty curious to know what happened.
That will be the 6th caution flag of the day. Comes out with 120 laps to go. Kevin Harvick was kind of having it all his own way. He's trying to become the 4th driver over 40 to score 3 wins in a row. Harry Gant did it, Mr. September 1991. Bobby Allison in 1983. David Pearson 1976. 3 in a row. Harvick coming in here perhaps with something to prove. He and his team left Las Vegas the winners with the winner's trophy. But when that car got back to the NASCAR R&D Center on Wednesday, they didn't like what they found there. You'll see the right side window under the CH of Busch. That is deformed somewhat. Looked like a broken brace. NASCAR thoroughly inspected that area on Wednesday at the R&D Center. They also found that the right side skirt, the area around the exhaust pipes, was not made of the required material, aluminum, and those 2 combined infractions resulted in a fine, the loss of the points, championship points, and also the playoff points, 7 of them, 2 for the stage wins and 5 for the race win. A big fine and the loss of their car chief for 2 races. Larry Mack?
Yeah, we ran 32 laps. If you pit here, you still have to pit one more time. But I think we're getting to the stage of the race. We may see some strategy rolling here. We've seen it work for Keselowski with 2 tires. I think most of the leaders will come. The question will be 2 or 4.
Oh, pit road's going to be busy. Matt.
Mike, Kevin Harvick chasing his 9th win here at ISM Speedway. Harvick said his car was so much better, especially on exit of turn 4. The previous run, remember they made that chassis adjustment. The car's really come to life. He also noted how he felt like Kyle Busch's 18 was much more free that run, and that's exactly what Kyle said. Just getting in the throttle, it just went to the free side, Jamie.
Martin Truex Jr. in the 78 comes in the 3rd position, saying the entry into 1 is his only place he's struggling. They made some good adjustments. He asked for a little bit more of that, which was an air pressure adjustment already made before the guys went over the wall. A 4-tire stop once again for the 78.
William Byron scoots out with just 2 tires, picks up 11 spots and the front spots. So did Eric Almirola, picks up 14 positions with a 2-tire stop. There's the rest of the race off pit road. With 118 laps to go, let's get out to Chris Myers for a Monster Energy race break.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. And just a quick recap. Kyle Larson taking the lead early from pole sitter Martin Truex Jr. Larson has led 54 laps, second most, and then here you got the little dogleg thing, Michael.
Yeah, and these drivers love cutting that, but there's a risk to it, Chris. We talked about it earlier. Look at that car bottom out.
Kyle Busch passing Kyle Larson on his way to winning stage 1. And then Kyle Larson falling further in the pack, spinning in turn 2. Doesn't hit anybody, though.
Yeah, some wheel hop on the back of his car. That caution enabled Kurt Busch to stay on the track and win stage 2.
And moments ago, turn 2, the most recent caution, Paul Menard.
I guarantee you that shocked him, Chris. I've never seen a tire blow out or have an issue that late up off the corner. He was heading in the right direction on the back straightaway and blew that tire, and hard contact for him.
Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers, Monster Energy Race Break here live on Fox from Arizona. So the dominant cars, we knew Kevin Harvick coming in the favorite, and Kyle Busch, who has run well here. So other than those 2, who do you see being the most challenging to them down the stretch?
Well, I think I see Denny Hamlin on a slick track. He's really good on these types of places. He can ease that throttle down, take care of his tires. He could be a factor, but I'm really looking forward to watching Kurt Busch rally. That 41 car is so fast in the long run. He's going to get his track position back eventually. I think he can contend and win this race.
Yeah, we mentioned Kyle Busch. What about the pole sitter Martin Truex, defending champ? Toyota still looking for their first win of this season.
He was frustrated with his car yesterday after practice. He knew he had a fast short run car, but not what he needed in the long haul. They've made it better, they've improved it, but I don't see him having that type of speed. I think it's going to be somebody that has a car that maybe has been buried back in traffic a bit that's going to sneak up there and run with those boys up front.
Now, history here with restarts, you get that accordion effect a little bit if we have that, if we have more cautions. And the early 2-tire strategy, what kind of strategy do you think we're going to see play out here?
Well, I love that 2-tire strategy, and I learned a lot from it. I saw Brad Keselowski run his fastest time of the day on just 2 right side tires, so that means it worked for him. And all the other crew chiefs noticed it as well, I can promise you that. So their wheels are spinning, looking for that perfect opportunity to pit, get 2 tires, grab the track position, and hold those guys off.
Kevin Harvick, 5 times he's won back-to-back races, has never won 3 straight, trying to do that. Last driver, by the way, to win 3 straight Cup races was Joey Logano. That's your Monster Energy race break. We'll head back upstairs to Jeff, Darrell, and Mike.
Thanks, Chris. Eric Jones had to come back down pit road because he and teammate Daniel Suarez had contact on their pit stop. They had to come back in and gain some fender clearance. He was 6th prior to pit stops. Vince?
Not too much issue for the 20. They came in and there wasn't a significant amount of damage, but they just worked around that left front wheel well. So they got the hammer out, beat on it a little bit from the inside to pull it out some, but not significant damage, just a lot of lost track position.
He will restart 30th. Michael McDowell made several pit stops. They have a power steering fluid leak on his car. There is ISM Raceway. Our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything they learn making tires for the grueling demands of NASCAR inspires what rolls into yours. Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR. For the first time in his now 4-race Cup career, William Byron, our Xfinity champ, he is the race leader. Electing the outside against Eric Almirola. They have 2 tires. All the hungry hounds behind them have 4.
Yeah, I thought that worked pretty good in the early stage of the race. Not sure that's the way to go in the latter stages. Tracks change a lot.
Already Kyle Busch going to try to take advantage of Almirola on those older tires. Tell you, those 2 tires, they take off good. Again, that heat in the left rear and the air pressure. Nice side-by-side action for the lead. But I think they're going to take off and be pretty good for a couple laps here. It's just how long before they can hold them off with those with 4 tires.
And who will emerge with the lead? Byron.
The 4 car's kind of in a give sandwich right now. He got the 11 and the 18 all over him.
I was really surprised that Kurt Busch didn't take advantage of this opportunity to take 2 tires. He was mired further back. He's got a great race car. I really thought that he would take 2 tires to get that track position back, but they chose to do 4.
Denny Hamlin showing strength.
He's had a good car all this race. He just hadn't been near the front with these guys. He's right there now, though. Down on that flat. Picked up a little, it made up a little ground going down the back. Whoa, Harvick got a little high that time.
And here comes Hamlin.
And Hamlin got a little loose.
A little off before. But he's still got the position. You can see that's why he's going to take advantage of that bottom line. Right now, if he can just stay in that position and continue to push Harvick wide, he might be able to clear Harvick and make this pass.
I think this is a statement. I said it a little bit ago, every restart's pretty much a statement about who's got the best car at this point in the race. And I think everybody's trying to impress Harvick. You got the best car? No, I got the best car.
Out front, William Byron, who won the Xfinity race here last November, leading Eric Almirola. Paul Menard checked and released at the Care Center. Here's Jamie.
It was a big hit for Paul Menard. He has been checked and released. You said you're okay, but any indication, Paul, what led to that?
Hard to say. I mean, we had a little brake trouble. I had a hard time slowing the car down. So I was probably using too much brake to get the car slowed down. And something happened in the rear. I think the right rear blew. I have no idea what caused what or anything. We'll go look at it.
Glad you're okay. Thank you. Mike?
Only 2 cars out of the race, Menard and Corey LaJoie. Watch this coming off turn number 4 a lap ago. With Jamie McMurray and Daniel Suarez.
Yeah, you could see Suarez a little bit further back, bobbled down on an apron and had to run wide. He did a good job of staying out of the left side of the 1 car, Jamie McMurray. They almost made contact.
And Kyle Larson had best seat in the house for that. And for second place in the upper left, Denny Hamlin has passed Eric Almirola and sets his sights on William Byron.
Well, I tell you, that 11 car is pretty racy right now.
Jeff, what did it feel like the first time you led a Sprint Cup race?
Well, I don't remember where it happened, but you know, getting to this level it's such an honor to be able to race against the best there is, and then when you get a chance to be out front, it sort of gives you that confidence. Yeah, I belong here.
Well, William Byron's a little bit of an outlier to today's young drivers because he didn't even start racing till age 15. He dragged his dad to Charlotte to watch the legend cars. Well, sure, cars, motorcycles, a little bit of his life. Tom Hanks, his favorite actor. 7 Truck Series wins in 16 after being a standout in the K&N Series and in Legends cars. Won the Xfinity Series title last year. Here he is behind the wheel of the now number 24 for Hendrick Motorsports, Vince.
Well, it's not unusual to see that 24 out front of a Cup race. We've seen that for years with Jeff behind the wheel, but it's almost hard to believe that William Byron, this is just his 4th Cup start. He's only 20 years old, but his feedback and his perspective and his work ethic display a maturity well beyond his 20 years. And that's the words you get from the team when you talk to him. And when you talk to him, he's not in over his head, in his opinion, as you see him being challenged by Denny Hamlin for the lead. He said, I expect to run up front because that's the caliber of team I have, as Hamlin comes side by side for the lead.
Mike, you know, that 24 number has 93 wins. You know what drivers drove that car that got those 93 wins?
Just one.
Just one. That's
standing
amazing.
next to you.
It's pretty amazing. Yep. And then he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Hall of Famer over here. I'm proud of you, buddy.
Thank you, DW. And it's cool to see William Byron doing so well today's race and battling for this lead. I mean, he's doing an excellent job with these 2 tires, holding off Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick. Valuable experience for a young driver.
Whoa! Here we go. 3 wide.
3. He is on the flat. 3 wide. 3 wide.
Nobody's going to give.
And remember, William Byron won the Xfinity race the last time he was here.
There's nobody that does more homework than William Byron when he gets ready to run these races. I tell you.
Well, he just went to school right
he
there. He
dots his I's and crosses his T's.
Now he's got to regroup. Those are 4 tires that all went by him. Those are some of the best cars in this race today. Just regroup, get back in your rhythm, and just make clean, consistent laps.
Who's caught that pack? Look at the tail end of that pack. His teammate, Chase Elliott.
Yeah, it's such a confidence builder, Mike, to be able to run. He's a rookie. He's a young man. To be able to run with these veteran drivers and to race with them, that's a great accomplishment.
7-car breakaway, and a little further back at 11th, McMurray, Boyer, Keselowski.
I think what I see out of Harvick's car over every run, the other guys slow down a little bit, and he maintains just a little bit better than they do, and he's able to chase them back down. He chased down the 18, got by him, chased down the 11, and probably get by him.
Chase Elliott moves up to 6th, passing Eric Almirola, who also took just 2 tires on the last stop. An even 100 laps to go as Martin Truex moves up to 4th on William Byron. Denny Hamlin, your leader.
Brakes. I don't have near enough either. I can't slow down fast enough. Woo! We're staying twinners. Woo! We're starting 25th now. Put it on my door. That's what he's going to get. It's all good, buddy. Nice and smooth. Keep it rolling up there. It's all good. Oh, what the hell that was? Yeah, there was a spark when it happened. That's when he turned.
94 laps to go in Phoenix. Only 2 cars out, Paul Menard and Corey LaJoie. Here's your Busch race summary. Denny Hamlin, the most recent of 8 different leaders, 11 lead changes, 29 cars on the lead lap, including DJ Kennington, who got the free pass on the last caution, of which we've had 6 for 36 laps. 93 to go.
There's some cars that are running at the front that I expected to run at front, but there's some cars that are running way back that surprised me too. I thought Jimmy Johnson, I thought Eric Jones here. I thought these guys would be up there near the top 10.
Yeah, Eric Jones, that team, not the crew chief, but that team won this race the last time the Cup cars were here, and he finished in the top 5.
Daniel Suarez, Ryan Blaney for 8th place and for the lead.
Yeah, Harvick's after him right now. He's got just a little bit better car than Hamlin does, and he's after him.
Denny didn't want him to get him loose, getting in the corner, so he moves up the racetrack.
But what a great rebound for Hamlin, who finished stage 2 in 25th position after that pit stop where he slid in almost to the wall and they had trouble changing left side tires.
Mike, this is so demoralizing, though. You got a car like Hamlin, running pretty darn good, happy with your car. I don't know a lot I could do to it. And Kevin Harvick drives by you.
What I've been watching Kevin Harvick does so well. Now Denny Hamlin's moving up the racetrack, but he was pretty good on the bottom in 1 and 2. Denny Hamlin was, but down in 3 and 4, Harvick is able to get his left sides on the apron, rotate the car, and drive off the corner much straighter. That's his big advantage. Right here, he just see how Denny Hamlin's not able to go down on the apron. He just stays right in that yellow line. Something about their setup or the heights on their car doesn't allow him to use that apron like Kevin Harvick.
I think right now Hamlin's driving as hard as he can, and Harvick's sizing him up. I mean, he only got 89 laps to go, 88 this time by. We're running out of laps here, guys. It's getting tight.
You can just see how Harvick uses that apron so well to gain on the 11 of Hamlin.
And what works for him, Jeff, the car never gets loose. He comes up off that corner in the gas, accelerating up out of that corner. Really nice. And if you're Denny Hamlin, you're looking in the mirror saying, is he doing all he can do, or has he got a little left?
We'll see. 88 laps to go. Harvick looking for the lead. Here's a quick word from Duracell.
This is the #1 trusted brand.
You know, guys, when you look at the average length of the longest green flag run here at ISM Speedway, it's about 80 to 85 laps. That's about a fuel window. And we've talked all day long about how much brakes these drivers use at the end of these long straightaways. Generates a lot of heat. The weak link becomes the bead of the tire. Now, our longest green flag run today has just been a little over 40 laps. But honestly, this race has a little bit of a green flag look. It seems like to me when we get somewhere around 50 to 60 laps to go, that's when we're flirting with a tire bead possibly going out. We went racing with 115 to go. When you see this right here get to about 60 to 65 to go, we may be flirting with some cooked beads if a driver's using too much brake.
Yeah, and Larry, also, we heard Paul Menard talk about how much his brakes were heating up on the right rear. He thought, I'm wondering if they melted a bead on that right rear.
I think he was having brake trouble and he dialed a little too much rear brake in it. But here's what we know right now. That 4 car, Kevin Harvick, he's got to go because that 18 car of Kyle Busch is catching he and Denny Hamlin right now. So Harvick's got to go.
I thought Harvick was going to be able to use Greg Galding as a pick, but Hamlin moved down and prevented that and kept the lead.
The cars are so equal, Mike. It's just so difficult. The guy in front, Hamlin's got to make a mistake for the 4 to get around him.
Well, and Hamlin knows if the 4 gets by him right here, he might just check out on him. So he's going to battle hard for this position.
Back to Paul Menard. The Goodyear tire engineers confirmed that Menard's right rear did burn up a bead, melt a bead, and that's what led him spinning into the wall in turn 2 and out of the race.
Yeah, most time if you're having brake trouble, you'll try to dial a little more rear in it, use the rears a little bit more to help the fronts. You end up with a right rear problem.
Well, and I think some of the teams are doing some things today also to use that right rear brake a little bit more to help stabilize the car on entry.
Here are your Toyota top performers with 83 to go. Positions 1, 3, and 5. Nice run for Suarez in 8th. And Eric Jones in the top 20.
All right, now, how long does Kevin Harvick stay patient here? I mean, he has a great car. He has a car that can win this race. Denny Hamlin's fighting him pretty hard, but the patience is going to run out here eventually.
Yeah, I think as long as 18 doesn't get on Harvick's bumper, he'll just work on Hamlin. But that 18 is getting closer and closer. Harvick knows I got to get by the 11 because I don't want to have to race both these guys.
Well, and you got to give Denny Hamlin a lot of credit. He's given him plenty of room. It's not like he's blocking him. He's saying, you take the inside, I'm going to take the outside, but you're going to have to pass me.
Just can't quite make that. He gets up to the door of the 11, but he loses so much momentum off the corner. Harvick does, and 11 accelerates down the straightaway, gets away from him.
Knock, knock. Candyman. He's right there. Oh, this is going to get interesting.
Yeah, when you're down on the bottom like Harvick is right now, you need the whole racetrack. You need to be able to go all the way out to the wall to carry momentum. Somebody's out there and you got to get off of them or pedal it a little bit and they get away from you.
You can see now Hamlin saw he had a little gap back to the 4 car. He decided to move back down to the bottom. I think he feels like he's a little bit faster down there, but he also realizes he can hold Kevin Harvick off if he runs that higher lane.
That 18 car is the guy. He is coming. He's using a really, really high line. These two guys are kind of fighting for the bottom. You watch the 18. He's going high. He really, really goes high in 3 and 4 where he is making a lot better time than these two cats in front of him.
Yeah, look at that big run he gets on Kevin Harvick going into 3.
Watch this right here. He gets high, really high, right up on the cushion.
Harvick really gets through the center of the corner, but he doesn't have the exit speed. Just doesn't have the angle. And that momentum on the top line, as you see with the 18 of Kyle Busch, really carries him down the straightaway.
The lap car up ahead is Kennington. They'll probably catch him within a lap. Now, who's driving his own race in 4th place, trying to catch these 3? Chase Elliott.
Well, and that's what we saw with Kyle Busch. While these two here were battling for the lead, that 18 was able to march his way up there. If they keep battling with the 3 of them, the 9 will be right in the picture also.
Yeah, the 9 is kind of lurking back there, watching this whole thing.
All Kyle Busch wants to do is just get to that right rear quarter panel of Kevin Harvick.
All Kevin Harvick wants to do is get even with that 11. I think he could pass it if he could ever get up there to the door, but he just can't quite get there. It's a heck of a battle, guys.
Great battle.
Driving hard, all 3 of these guys are, and with Chase closing in a little bit every lap.
And clear sailing ahead for almost a straightaway. No lap cars ahead.
Boy, Kyle Busch is flirting. Oh, he gets right up in that cushion, right up almost to the wall in 3 and 4. Now this could be a good move for Harvick here. He's got a little bit of a look, but not enough.
Oh, that momentum off the top carries more speed for Denny Hamlin in 3.
I just can't get over how high Kyle Busch is going into 3 and running that high line up there. That's right up on the edge.
That time Kevin Harvick ran the center of the racetrack.
Well, I think what Hamlin saw is where the 18's running, and I think he thinks maybe if he moves up, he can get away from the 4 car.
Oh, look at the 18. This is what makes Kyle Busch so good. He sees them moving around the racetrack. Okay, you want to get off the bottom? I'll go back down to the bottom and see if I can't make a pass.
Meanwhile, Chase Elliott is catching them at a rate of 0.2 of a second a lap.
Oh, he's closing in. I mean, he's just slowly getting there.
Kyle all the way to the bottom that time to try out that groove.
They might be 3 wide here in a minute for the lead. When you're up on the outside like Hamlin is, you're dancing. I mean, you're right on the edge. You go in the corner a little too hard, you push up a little too much, you get in the loose stuff, you're in trouble. So you're riding right on the edge.
This is about to become 4 cars under a blanket instead of just 3.
This is one of the best battles I've seen among 3. That's about to be 4 that I've seen in a long time.
You know what I like? It's 2 Toyotas, a Ford, and a Chevrolet closing up here.
Oh, Kyle might have a run on the 4. Yeah, he's going to get there. This might clear Kevin Harvick. He's going to clear him getting into turn 3. I think Harvick might get back to his quarter panel, but he'll clear him off of turn 4. Yeah, this is the momentum and the run that Kyle Busch was looking for. Wow. I bet Joe Gibbs racing right now.
Strong, really strong.
'71 laps complete. Hamlin, Busch, Harvick, Elliott. We'll keep it right here and go side by side. Next week, the West Coast Swing continues at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Next Sunday, there's the website and the phone number where your tickets start at just $50. Call or go online and order yours. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, less than 0.4 of a second apart. Chase Elliott now third, passing Denny Hamlin. What happened to Hamlin? Did he just use his stuff up?
I think so. He was running so hard. He was running that higher line. You'll use more of the right front tire up on that top groove also. So I just think brakes, tires, everything, he just used it all up trying to hold off Kevin Harvick.
Vince, how about Chase Elliott?
Well, it's been a good day for Elliott. He said many times throughout the course of the day, I don't know how much better the balance could get. It's just a matter of drive off. He said the drive off has been pretty good, but he said just the grip that he needs to contend for the lead just hasn't quite been there. But the longer they run, the better it seems to get for Chase. Last time in, he said, I don't know what to tell you. It's pretty darn good.
I saw Bill and Chase last night at dinner, and I asked Chase, I said, what's your plan for tomorrow? And he said, keep up with that 4 car.
Yes.
Well, he's doing a great job of that.
7 second-place finishes in his young career in the Cup Series. For 9th place, Brad Keselowski, William Byron.
William doing a nice job with those 2 tires.
Yeah, he's
maintaining that top 10. There's only 2 Chevrolets in the top 10. That's William Byron in the 24 and Chase Elliott up in 3rd place.
Byron led his first laps in the Cup Series today after a 2-tire stop.
Jeff, I think Kyle Busch must have heard me. I was afraid he was going to drive into the 3rd turn, get up in that loose stuff, and get into that outside wall. Since he got by Harvick, he's been running a lot lower on the racetrack. So either he's saving that groove in case he needs it, or he found out around the bottom's a little better.
Yeah, I really think he was using that groove because he saw the 2 in front of him of Hamlin and Harvick running the line he wanted to run. So he just tried to find some clean air and go somewhere they weren't.
Nice battle at 5th place. Eric Almirola hanging on to the back bumper of Martin Truex. Jamie?
Doing a really nice job here, Mike. He started 22nd on the day, 6th now. I talked to John Kosmeyer, his crew chief, this morning. They were so excited. They've only worked together 3 races, got their first top 10 together last week, and he said Eric is such a good teammate, and so is Kevin Harvick. Eric has really been leaning on Kevin, went to him multiple times in the garage, asking different things like braking points, and it made a big difference in his lap times. Their setups, too, very similar, so really good day so far for the 10.
Yeah, and don't forget, he took 2 tires like William Byron did on that last pit stop. Doing an amazing job.
You know, back to 11 real quick, we were talking about him. Mission accomplished. He held Harvick up while his teammate got in the lead, so he accomplished his mission.
Also having a great day in the top 10 is Daniel Suarez. He's in 8th place, Vince.
Well, and Suarez ran 7th in this race last year. It's certainly been a track that seems to have fit well for him. And he said the car is pretty good. In fact, it's the best it's been all day. Fired off better and has gotten better as the run has progressed. So a nice showing from this JGR effort today as well.
You know, Vince, what I love about Daniel Suarez, he just gets better and better every lap he makes on the racetrack. I knew he would have a solid run here. We followed him in the Truck Series where he got a win here last year, solid. This kid will win in 2018. You watch.
William Byron makes a stop. So does Bubba Wallace. Larry, 54 laps since their last pit stop, 58 laps to go. What do you think?
Well, here's what I do think, Mike. We could see 2 different things happening. They can run to about lap 280, which is 30 to 35 to go. But when we went back racing with 114 to go, we saw this yesterday. Here comes Chase Elliott. They're splitting this run in half, and I think William Byron is the one that started that, Vince.
He did indeed, Larry. And for Chase Elliott, we told you just a few moments ago, he's been really pleased with his car, especially here in the second half of this race. It's going to be a 4-tire change and fuel for Chase Elliott, who pitted from the 3rd position. As we go to the end, he's going to be a contender, you'd have to think, for his first career win.
Well, now they've got to hold their breath that this pit cycle is completed.
Well, and Harvick's on pit road.
Harvick and Hamlin. Vince.
Well, in the 11 of Denny Hamlin on pit road as well, who's led this race for much of the time here in this final stage before Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick caught him. Hamlin likes his car. Looking forward to getting those 4 fresh tires, though, Matt.
And Daniel Smith going to work on that right rear. Eric Maycroft on the front. Harvick said that he was working the track bar, trying to help the exit where he was fighting that lack of grip, just pedaling through the center of the corner. Air pressure change, a little bit extra time on the left rear. He's away.
Payne, McMurray on pit road, Almirola, Truex, Suarez, Kurt Busch, and more.
Guys, Kyle Busch, he continues to stay out on the racetrack in this 18 car, but he's given up so much time to these guys because the pace had fallen off over a second. Yeah, they're hoping that a caution comes, but they're losing a lot of time out there, Jamie.
Defending series champion Martin Truex Jr. in the box. They've had an up and down day. The car was pretty good for a while. Now he says, I don't know why, but it just won't turn. Eric Almirola in as well. And the 78 is down after 4 tires.
Jimmy Johnson going out, Austin Dillon coming in.
Now, typically, we see where it's so risky to pit under green here. You can lose so much track time, but we've also seen where cars have melted beads because of brake temperature by running long green flag runs, so it can be very risky, Jamie.
It's been a decent day for Austin Dillon as he slides to a stop. His crew chief, Justin Alexander, told me since they got the first win at the Daytona 500, they have been in experimental mode, trying something new today, and he's been hovering right in that top 10, 11th place position. 4 tires here, just needs to be able to get to the gas a little quicker.
And here comes the leader. Kyle Busch will surrender the lead to Brad Keselowski, Ryan Newman, and Eric Jones as he brings his number 18 Toyota to pit lane.
Mike, this will be a good show and tell right here. Where does the 4 come out compared to the 18?
Matt?
18 is in. Adam Stevens, a lot of conversation back and forth about how to try to improve this car over this run. Kyle felt like they needed to take a bigger swing this time, but the car really started to come to him at the end of that run. A little bit extra time on the left side, trying to get that left rear on. They're going to lose time, Mike.
Joey Logano is in, along with Matthew Benedetto, and Brad Keselowski is your new race leader from Ryan Newman, Eric Jones, Casey Kane, and Ricky Stenhouse. Jamie?
Joey Logano told me he'd be disappointed if they didn't finish somewhere between 4th and 7th, and that's basically where they've been running. You saw a tear-off taken there, just a little bit tight in the middle, but they've been pretty decent. Had 2 bad runs here last year. They changed their setup and philosophy. 20s in as well.
So still 6 drivers who have not pitted in this green flag cycle at the front of the field.
Mike, I'm not sure that the 18 was going to pit when he did. He ran into a bunch of trouble up here in the middle of 3 and 4 when he was trying to maybe get on pit road, but here's what happened. Gets all bottled up right here.
Whoa.
I don't know if he was, I think he thought right here, well, I might as well pit now. I've broken my momentum.
And
yeah, that certainly didn't look like an approach you typically take if you were planning to come to pit road.
I think that was one I'm coming now.
Keselowski the leader, Newman second, Kane third. Ross Chastain in the 15 is the 4th place car.
Yeah, but it's the
as we cycle through stops.
It's the next one on your list, Mike, that gets my attention. That's Chase Elliott. He was one of the first cars, one of the first leaders on pit road. He is ahead of Kevin Harvick right now. Once this sequence plays out.
Also Ricky Stenhouse in that top 5. But how about Ryan Newman in 2nd place, working strategy just as they did to win this race here last year?
Mike, you remember I talked at the top of the show. If you don't have a race-winning car, you have to do something out of the box. And these drivers that's out there right now, Keselowski, Newman, Kane, Stenhouse, they can go another 15 or 20 laps. And if they get a caution, yeah, they're going to come to pit road. But these other drivers that's already pitted, they've run enough laps, they're probably going to need fresh tires again.
True, Larry. This race has become wild because right now you have cars on brand new tires much faster than cars on worn tires, and there's a lot of dive bombing going on into these corners.
And typically, like I was saying before, the advantage of staying out is that if enough cars stay out, they can really heat up those brakes, heat up that bead, possibly melt that bead, and cause a caution to come out. But so many of the cars have made it to pit road, I don't see that happening.
I think the big winner so far is Chase Elliott, because he was the first of those leaders to stop. He had the advantage of those fresh tires sooner, and that's why Chase Elliott is in 5th place. The 4 cars ahead of him have not yet made their pit stop.
And we saw Elliott close up on those leaders, the 11, the 4, and the 18. He was a little quicker than they were right before pit stop, so this may work out really well for him.
I wonder if Ryan Newman is ever going to stop.
Well, we know that they gamble. But that's how he won this race last year.
That's right.
Stayed out on tires when everybody else pitted, and it paid off.
Boy, heck of a battle going on
here for the lead. Keselowski Newman for the lead.
Wow, it's getting all, they're all up going
And
down
Ryan Newman goes to the front.
For the lead, but I hate to say this, I think it's all for naught because
I do too.
They're going to have to pit here pretty soon.
DW has taught me about this half the pitting situation. They can go about 95 laps, but that was at a pace yesterday that's about 2 seconds quicker. If he gets the lead, he can slow it down. Who in the world knows what they're going to try to do here?
Now, to me, here's the battle for the win right here. The 9 car leaped the 4 under green flag stops.
Jeff, I always like it when they say, nobody can make it. I can.
You can see the 11 just now coming off of turn 2. About a half a straightaway lead for those first 2 guys. Now the 18's actually gotten by the 11.
Yeah, that's 7th place.
18 had a really slow stop. He lost a lot of time.
Now on the track, this is for 5th place. But these are the first 2 cars in the race that have made that what we think will be final green flag stop. Quite a list of drivers have finished second to Kevin Harvick here. Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Casey Kane, Dale Jr. twice, Jeff Gordon, Jamie McMurray, Carl Edwards have finished runner-up to the 4 or to Kevin Harvick, whatever car he was driving to victory lane here.
Now I know that Chase Elliott's been watching this 4 car all day because he's been behind him most of the day. I'm just wondering if he's tried that apron and run a little bit lower down 3 and 4. If his spotter's telling him right now, hey, the 4 is running lower through 3 and 4. If you can get down there on that apron, you might be able to block a little bit of that air.
I just think, Jeff, I think that 4 car is a little quicker than the 9. I think he's got a great car, but I think the 4 is just a little wee bit quicker. We saw that right before pit stops.
And the 18 is quicker than both of them. So if you're Kevin Harvick, knowing you might have to, here we come.
Yeah, here's a run coming and a lap car.
Boy, Chase is fighting him off. I like that a lot. Put up a battle, buddy. Don't give it to him.
You see those hands working that wheel inside Chase Elliott's car.
I know you want the lead if you're Kevin Harvick, or you want to get past the 9 who has equal tires. How much of your car do you want to use up if you think you're going to have to deal with that 18 before this is over?
Well, we saw before, if he races for this position too long, they will close in.
Well, the 18 is closing fast. So Harvick knows right now, I have got to get by this 9, put a little gap between me and that 18 car. That's the guy he's got to beat.
That's what happened to Denny Hamlin earlier. Battled for the lead, and the field came to him.
They're side by side, man, as they come off a corner down the back straightaway. Looks like Harvick might have the advantage.
This is now for 4th place.
Chase packed her in there on the outside.
Whoa,
pretty good. Slipped him up the hill. Yep.
That's going to get it done, though.
That's what it took. Just a little bit of a slide job up into the side of him. The way he went. There's that 18 car right there with him.
And here comes Kyle. So Newman's the leader. Keselowski 2nd. Casey Kane 3rd. They're about to pull past Kane. This is for position. This is a battle for 3rd. Kane and Harvick. Kane on older tires. And these 3 on fresher tires. Ryan Newman still putting down laps within half a second of those other battlers. We're going to put Casey Kane back to 6th place here as Kyle Busch works on Chase Elliott. 36 laps to go in Phoenix. .32 laps to go in the Arizona desert. Ryan Newman hanging on to a lead. He and Brad Keselowski have 86 laps on their tires. That's Keselowski in the 2. Then, with much fresher tires, 14 seconds back to Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, and Denny Hamlin. That's the distance of the whole front straightaway plus. There's Harvick
And I have a lot of respect for these guys that are trying to play this strategy out. If the caution comes out right now, everybody's going to come down pit road and get tires. So they would be benefiting from staying out right now. But if they don't get that caution, they have to come under green. They're going to be at least 1 or 2 laps down.
It's like a lot of other things, Jeff. You say, well, this isn't going to work. You don't know if you don't try it. So I give them credit for trying.
There's the difference in the pit stop cycle between Newman, Keselowski, and the rest of the field. Jamie McMurray thought he had a loose wheel, made an extra pit stop. Turned out not to be the case, so they changed all 4 and sent him back out. Well, we listened in on Kevin Harvick and company.
All 4 better on the top. Kyle's back on the bottom at 3 and 4. Probably better on the bottom at 3 and 4, Kevin.
Tim Fiedler, a spotter for Harvick.
I totally agree. I don't think he needs to change his line. He let them other guys foot for a better way than he's got, because he got that apron worked out.
29 laps to go. Now, Larry, we've said he can't possibly make it. Is there any chance of Ryan Newman finishing this off without a stop?
Mike, I've been crunching numbers ever since the last time that you heard from me, and Matt Yoakum certainly did the report on Ryan Newman. Honestly, I just don't see him being able to go past about lap 300, which would still be 12 laps to go. But I don't know about Keselowski. I hear that he's actually out of gas. He's coming to pit road.
Second place car on pit road, Keselowski. That will move Kevin Harvick up to second, 12 seconds behind Newman.
Yeah, they're in some pretty heavy traffic right now. So how well Kevin Harvick gets through traffic, or how well Kyle Busch behind him gets through traffic, could decide this race.
Yeah, he had to get around Trevor Bayne there. That held him up a little bit, and I think that's going to allow Kyle Busch to get right to his back bumper, because he's not being held up at all. Well, Harvick did a nice job right there sliding in front of the 51 and the 6, so that'll help a little bit. Those two cars are really equal, Mike. I mean, they run such almost identical lap times. It's so amazing to me how close they are.
It'll be fun to see how this plays out, with Chase Elliott a second back of Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin another 2 back. There's Chase on the inside.
You think back to Ryan, just think about Ryan Newman, the guy leading the race right now. Last year, the only chance he had to win the race was stay out on tires when everybody pitted. What did he do? Stayed out. Only chance he's got to do today, only option he has today, try to stretch it out.
Newman is 11.5 up on Harvick. He was 12th before the pit stop cycle began. 24 laps to go.
And there's not a guy out there, Harvick, Busch, any of them are saying, that 31 can't make it, can he?
This right here, not for position. That's actually Joey Logano, who's a lap down in 19th.
Not a good day for these guys, for the 22 or the 2.
11 cars on the lead lap. William Byron trying to get a lap back from Newman, and does.
I think Newman might be coming to pit road here.
Ooh, be
there
careful, buddy.
Pit road right here.
And Ryan Newman will surrender the lead that he's held for 22 laps. Here comes Harvick off turn 4. And as Newman rolls to a stop, we have a new leader, Kevin Harvick.
Hey, it was a hand that could have won, but unfortunately it didn't for him, for Newman. Got 2 tires, out of here.
2 tires and Sunoco fuel. So now it's likely a 4-horse race. Kevin Harvick's Ford, Kyle Busch's Toyota, Chase Elliott's Chevrolet, and Denny Hamlin's Toyota.
And I also think it's bottom groove versus top groove. I think Kyle Busch is searching around the racetrack, trying to find a little something to gain on the 4 car. If he can work that top groove in 3 and 4, he might get there.
Matt?
Mike, Sunday night after NASCAR had already taken the winning 4 car from Las Vegas, and got loaded up to head back to North Carolina. Cheddar Bob Smith, the car chief, and he led this group of men here on the floor working on this Phoenix car in the garage area at Las Vegas, getting it ready to ship it over here to ISM Speedway. You mentioned earlier that part of the penalty, Cheddar Bob Smith, the car chief, suspended for 2 races, but his leadership and impact with this group, although he's not here, is certainly felt. But you look at the depth of Stewart Haas Racing. They pulled in Nick DeFazio, brought him in from the bullpen, former road guy, many years here up and down pit road. He's the setup man on the setup plate at Stewart Haas. So when you have to go to the bullpen, you pull another great player to come out here on pit road. And they've done a great job all weekend working with a new car chief.
19 to go for Kevin Harvick. Little tweet from early in the week. Where is Cheddar Bob? He's with the old man, Tony Gibson.
Yeah.
Just fishing.
Yeah, that's what Harvick's doing right now.
Up on Baden Lake outside Winston-Salem.
That is so cool. Miss Tony Gibson at the track. He's a good man.
Kevin Harvick trying to win 3 in a row and his 9th win at what is now ISM Raceway. With a little help from Keelan.
A little help from Carl Edwards.
Yeah, a little beat and bang. But he is the all-time winner here and came in here as the pre-race favorite. $17 to go, and the gap is the same. A little more than 0.8 of a second.
Yeah,
over Kyle Busch.
Kevin Harvick tried that high line a little bit, and then it allowed Kyle Busch to close up. When they told him you were better on the bottom, he went back to the bottom, and now he's been able to maintain the gap pretty good. Kyle's not gaining on him at all.
No, but they are coming up on a lot of heavy lap traffic. I think this is what is going to make if this thing goes green to the end, it's how you navigate this traffic that can really make a difference in who's going to win this race.
$18 cars on the lead lap, back to Brad Keselowski.
You know, guys, right now, Kevin Harvick leading by over a second over Kyle Busch. Part of it was what took place on pit road. The 4 team had roughly a 2-second quicker pit stop than what actually the 18 car, but the left side, the jack fell on the 18. That's what slowed that stop down. Add that to the fact that Kyle Busch went 4 more laps on those older tires. That's a big part of the difference right now here with 14 laps to go.
Mike, guess what they both ran the last time by a lap time? 28:16, 28:16.
And hardly anyone else was close.
Guys, I want to keep my eye on Kyle Busch as we catch traffic. Kevin Harvick's been dedicated to the bottom. Kyle will go anywhere. That car's been wide, almost outside of the groove. He catches cars at the right place. He might take advantage of being able to move around on the track like he has today.
Matt?
And Michael sounds a lot like Adam Stevens, because Kyle came on the radio a few moments ago and said, I have nothing for him. This is all I have. And Adam said, remember, your car really seems to come in later in the run. Just hang in there. You know, one other note about losing the car chief. This is the 3rd straight race that the team has lost the car chief because of a penalty. Truex scored a 5th at Atlanta, Johnson a 12th, and right now that 4 car is P1.
Chase Elliott, half a tenth quicker than Kevin Harvick that lap. Kyle Busch a 10th slower.
You know what Harvick's doing right now, Mike? He's Harvicking.
Well, we've seen a trend here of late cautions come out here the last 3 or 4 races also, so this thing's anything but over.
.28:16 that time by. That's the fastest lap of anyone.
Look at that, head down, focused, and look how smooth that car is. Just working that wheel slightly and lightly and politely and getting around this racetrack.
Little wiggle.
Thank you very much.
A little wave.
I'll put you on my list. Christmas list.
Third straight race the team has lost the car sheet because of a penalty. Truex scored a 5th at Atlanta, Johnson a 12th, and right now that 4 car is P1.
Chase Elliott half a tenth quicker than Kevin Harvick that lap. Kyle Busch a tenth slower.
You know what Harvick's doing right now, Mike? He's Harvicking.
Well, we've seen a trend here of late cautions come out here the last 3 or 4 races also, so this thing's anything but over.
.28.16 that time by. That's the fastest lap of anyone.
Look at that, head down, focused, and look how smooth that car is. Just working that wheel slightly and lightly and politely and getting around this racetrack.
Little wiggle.
Thank you very much.
A little wave.
I'll put you on my list. Christmas list.
The Dillon brothers were nose to tail there. Austin in the 3, tying the 13 with our Fox Visor cam. Thanks to Germain Racing and the Twisted Tea folks for allowing us that view, and to Ty Dillon. Well, next time we come here, this track will be topsy-turvy. The asphalt racing surface will be the same. The start-finish line will be over at the exit of what is now turn 2, and that, boys, will change everything.
Oh, yeah, that dog leg will become quite significant.
So the start-finish line is here, and it is going to be right there. Those are not empty seats in silver, folks. Those are the bases for the chairback seats that will be installed there as this track is completely, let's say, reconfigured. Pit road will be extended further around what's now turn 2, although the pit entry will remain at the same place. It'll be all different when we come back here.
And we'll all be fumbling trying to figure out which one's turn 1 and which one's turn 3.
No kidding.
Yep.
I just can't wait to see the start-finish line over and what they do when they get in the dog leg. That's going to be, it's going to be so exciting.
I can't wait for restarts.
Oh yeah, they'll be crazy.
Yeah, because you restart right back there, come through the dog leg, and then be what, 5 wide into turn 3?
Yeah,
into turn 1
at least. Hey, I want to wish my niece's husband David Rosencrantz a happy birthday today. I know there's 60 folks over in Charleston watching this race right now. Little birthday party.
6 laps to go. Our 5-hour energy extra strength big move of the race back at lap 274. It was for 4th place at the time, but we knew this would likely be the pass for the win once that extended pit stop cycle sorted out. Harvick passing Chase Elliott there for 4th. Elliott now 3rd. Harvick the leader. Kyle Busch in between them. 1.1 seconds back with 5 to go.
Well, I just look at the strength of that 4 team right now. Kevin Harvick, Rodney Childers, everything that they've been through this week, and yet they just put that out of their minds and go do their job and do it so well.
Jeff, you know Harvick like I do. That's motivation. He didn't come in here with his head down. He came in here with his head up. And he was going to show these boys, you know, last week. That ain't got nothing to do with this
And
week.
I said it in our pre-race. I'll say it again. He thrives on these types of situations.
They can call him what they want, but I call him the instigator because he loves to instigate things.
Well, he's long been the closer, and today, after what I thought was a great mid-race battle with Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch, 3 cars under a blanket, Harvick emerged from that after pit stops to drive away. In the pre-race, Kevin Harvick talked about shrugging off what happened last week.
It's just one of those situations that you look at and you build on and you go forward. And it's not the first penalty that I've had in my career. I've probably got more penalties and fines in this garage than probably most of them all put together, whether it be for the car or me doing something dumb. But you know, that's part of it. It's been part of this sport for a long time. It's no different than seeing a flag in football or a referee calling a penalty in the NBA. You know, sometimes you don't agree with it. Sometimes they see it one way and you see it another, and you move on.
A harsh penalty, but one that likely would not have impacted the outcome of last week's race. So here comes Kevin Harvick coming to the white flag, trying to win 3 races in a row for the first time in his career. The white flag waves, 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Just 3 weeks of dominance. Car down in the corner, nice and smooth. Look at it, not even fighting the wheel, just kind of on cruise control, bringing her to the house.
He hadn't led a lap here in the last 3 races. Boy, he changed that today.
Off turn 4, Happy Harvick gets his 40th career win. And his 9th at Phoenix.
Right there, boys. That's how you rebound and just show them how it is right there. Awesome job.
That says it all. He ties Mark Martin for 18th on the all-time win list. Kyle Busch finishes 2nd for the 2nd week in a row.
History making right there. You're the man. Awesome job, guys.
And Kevin Harvick is the first driver to win 3 in a row over the age of 40 since Harry Gant in 1991.
And Mike, look at that finish. All 4 Stewart-Haas cars in the top 10. Great, just a great effort by that whole company.
Now, if you go back to Texas last November, Kevin Harvick has won 4 of the last 7 races. In the Cup Series.
That's impressive. I don't care who you are.
42nd career win for Stewart-Haas Racing among 4 drivers, and their 3rd of the season, 6th here.
That's the kind of dominance I saw our buddy over here, Jeff Gordon, do. The kind of dominance I saw Jimmy Johnson do, and there he is.
I think he gave a little pat. A little pat.
Gives the back window a smack.
Yeah. That's funny.
By the way, our computer projection model, Bernie, had the top 5, not in exact order, but did pick Kevin Harvick to win. Kevin Harvick burning down the house, and Kevin taking home the checkered flag is today's Sunoco fueling victory.
It's beautiful.
Kevin Harvick, 3-peats, 3 in a row. Wow.
Live at Arizona, Kevin Harvick. I got your rear window brace right here. And dominating once again, 3 straight, and history making. It's been 25 years since any driver has won 3 of the first 4 races. Last time, 92. It's only been done 2 other times. Kevin Harvick off to a blazing start despite the March mayhem over the punishment handed out earlier in the week as he wins his 3rd straight. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. And Victory Lane, the celebration is taking place.
A double high five to the back glass. Emotion and frustration's running a little high the past 4 days. What type of message, Kevin, does this performance?
Is what I've been mad as all get out because this team does a great job. This organization does a great job. And we've got fast race cars. And to take, that away from those guys just really pissed me off last week. And, to come here to a racetrack that is so good for us is a lot of fun, and everybody was just determined this week, and we just wanted to just go stomp them. We didn't stomp them, but we won, and that's really all that matters. So just proud of this team, put a fire in our belly, and just got to thank, I'm excited. Got to thank everybody from Jimmy John's, Busch, Ford, Mobil One, Outback, Hunt Brothers, Morton Buildings, Textron, Liftmaster, Haas Automation. I always forget our owners, Gene Haas and Tony Stewart, but what a badass team right there.
9th win here at ISM Speedway. Historically also, you tied another Hall of Famer, Mark Martin, 40 career wins. Those type of performances mean so much to you.
Yeah, I mean, this really felt more important than winning at Homestead, to race for a championship, just to drive it home for all those supporters out there and all you haters. I see you.
Kyle Busch led the most laps today, 128 in the second week in a row. Kyle, you brought it home second. Anything that you feel you guys could have done better there?
No. Before the race, I knew the 4 car had the car to beat. And I didn't think we were going to be a second-best car today. But we actually had a shot to race him and outrace him and beat him. But, it just didn't quite work out. Obviously, our pit stop wasn't stellar. And then when I was trying to come back up through there, I got back up through there pretty good and got relatively close. But I was counting on the 9 to hold him up a little bit more and be able to protect that spot a little bit longer than he did. And that way I could try to get there and at least get alongside the 4 and try to make it a 3-way battle for the lead like I did earlier when it was the 11 kind of holding up the 4. And just never transpired that way. But, I thought that our Skittles Sweet Heat Camry was really good. Adam and the guys made some awesome changes overnight because we weren't that good yesterday. And proud to come home second. But now it's starting to get frustrating.